I got the call. I got the call. The UFC higher ups called me, big names. And they said, Sean, I got to apologize, but you're not Israeli enough to go to UFC 250 Israel edition.
Did you see that Sean Strickland got banned from the White House for talking about Israel?
I'm not surprised at all. I mean,
the White House didn't clear you. And I'm not really surprised, I'm not really surprised. So, I think moving forward, I would like to just apologize to Israel. I'd like to say I'm sorry, I'd like to apologize to Trump. And I just want to prove that I'm Israeli enough for you guys. Like, for instance,
freedom of speech is what really makes this country great. And when you can't criticize a foreign nation, come on, man. We ought to be able to criticize our own nation, let alone a foreign nation. In fact,
what's going on, everybody? Today, I'm going to discuss the Sean Strickland claiming he got banned from the White House event. He wasn't supposed to fight there. He was just trying to attend, and they told him he couldn't. It's hard to tell if he's being sarcastic or not. He's always like semi-sarcastic. So I'm going to break that down and let you know what I think. Then I got a few other clips. I haven't been live for a while, so a lot has happened. I'll answer some questions and just go over some stuff. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you as always. Dream Rare Podcast starts now, and let's get into it.
It's the Dream Rare Podcast. Welcome to the show. The way to get the news at the desk or on the road. Let's go. God is great and success in our control. The world is crazy, but we get better from obstacles. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? Sorry, I have a little piece of my hair on this this microphone. Very unprofessional, but thanks for being here. Sorry for the delay. And yeah, there's a lot to go over. A lot has happened since. So I'm just going to get into the title clip. Then I got a bunch of other political stuff to talk about that interests me, but I'm going to get into this clip. I thought it's hilarious. Like, Sean Strickland, for those who don't know, he's the UFC middleweight champion. He's always been like super wild and outspoken. He's funny. He's a little crazy. Like, I think he's been banned from the UFC before because he jumped into the cage and got in a fight in a different promotion, so they banned him. He said some wild stuff. He's done some wild stuff, but he wanted to go to the UFC White House event, and he's been very outspoken about like the Israel lobby. He says he's never voting for AIPAC candidates. He's calling Justin Gaethje, who's an American fighter fighting at the White House, a goy, a good goy. So I think it's getting super funny. In my opinion, I think it's hilarious. Some might find it offensive. I apologize, but let's go over the clips and then we'll keep it moving.
Well, you guys, I'm not surprised, but I got the call. I got the call. I got the call. The UFC higher ups called me, big names. And they said, Sean, I got to apologize, but you're not Israeli enough to go to UFC 250 Israel edition.
So, I mean, it's funny, but I don't think he really got a call, and I don't think they really were like, hey, you can't go to UFC Israel because, you're not Israeli enough. Like, that is sarcasm, but I'm guessing he probably did try to get to the White House event and couldn't. So we'll keep listening. And I think a lot of people that are responding to this that care about the Israel stuff, they might not watch the UFC that much. So not to say that I know so much better, but because I like the UFC a lot, I feel like even though I'm sure that has a lot to play with it, I think Sean is like a super risk for the White House event. Like I said, he's been banned for jumping into the cage and like getting in a fight after or before a fight for one of his friends. So, the White House, it's going to be hard to have someone like Sean there who talks a lot of trash. There are going to be interviews probably, and he's going to be talking about Epstein, the Israel stuff. That definitely plays a role. But I'm not surprised that he's banned. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm not surprised. I'm just going to play the rest of the clip because it's pretty funny.
The White House didn't clear you. And I'm not really surprised, I'm not really surprised. So, I think moving forward, I would like to just apologize to Israel. I'd like to say I'm sorry, I'd like to apologize to Trump, and I just want to prove that I'm Israeli enough for you guys. Like, for instance, whenever the list like disappeared and Trump goes out there and says to everybody that he can't really go into it because people that by association will get prosecuted and like their names will be tarnished. I want to apologize because, I don't want them to be prosecuted. Or, when Trump goes and bombs the fuck out of Iran that no Americans agree with, that cost Americans $5 to $15,000 to go fight Israel's war, I want to apologize.
I just think it's so dope that the UFC doesn't censor their fighters. Like we'll get into the White House event and why Sean might have been banned in a second, but if you said this in the NBA, they'd like fine you, probably like harass you until you donated to the ADL or something. If you said this in the NFL, probably you get dropped from your team and like suspended. So just the fact that him, Bryce Mitchell, a lot of the fighters get to say whatever they want, like he's allowed to. It's one of the biggest sporting events in history, I would say, because it's like a White House one-off event. And you have your champion of the middleweight division just calling Justin Gaethje a good goy. Like, to me, it's peak entertainment. You know, obviously, I think not just myself, but a lot of people are kind of burnt out from politics. I love what I do. I'm grateful. I'm so, I appreciate people coming back. I know this is like one of the longer breaks I've taken, but from live streaming. But I love politics and I love getting into the weeds of it. But when it comes to the daily grind of just what it is and like caring so much and getting stressed out by it, I need like a good comedic entertainment in my job sometimes. So like I love seeing Sean Strickland call Justin Gaethje a goy. I like Justin Gaethje as well. It's just so funny and it's so, for me, it's just so Americana. It's so free speech. Like I hate how NBA players get fined for saying no homo. You're like, oh, you look good, no homo. And they're like, that's offensive to the LGBT community. It's like everything's gay. The Yankees are gay. Like Tampa Bay's gay. It's Pride Month. Like Elmo's gay. They're pushing like homosexuality on children, which is insane through Sesame Street. So, it's like this world has been taken over by a lot of weird stuff. We won't get into it right now, but to see a sport where people punch each other, not get censored, is just so refreshing and so funny to me. Like I love Sean Strickland. I like Bryce Mitchell. I like all the guys that speak their mind. I like that they could talk about the Israel lobby. I like that they could call people goys. It's just fun, outside of like, I'm going to give my analytical opinion and stuff, but I'm just having a good time with it. Like I see him posting a picture of himself, like photoshopped with curls. And he's like, the White House event was promised to me 3,000 years ago. What other sport will allow people to just speak their truth? So not just their truth, but in general, just be themselves, have a sense of humor. It makes it fun. And I'll play this last clip in a second, but with the UFC, Ari Emanuel owns it. It's not Dana White. Dana White's the CEO. Ari Emanuel, you could look into him, his history, et cetera, his family, like a very political family, multiple countries, et cetera. But in general, he owns it. And I'm sure he probably could try to censor it more. And I don't know that he even wants to, I don't really know what his thoughts are, but if you don't like a fighter, you could root for them to lose a fight. It's the same as like basketball or, I don't like the Pistons. Okay, then root against them. So you don't need to censor people in fighting. They're fighting. They're going to punch each other in the face. They're going to choke each other out. So I love that they just get to talk their shit. However, now we're going to get into the more political side of it, which is, did he get banned from the White House event for criticizing Israel and Trump? Let's listen to the last clip.
Sorry, I've been a critic of that, My allegiance was apparently in the wrong place, and I just want to apologize. Or when Trump goes out there and says, hey, Trump, your approval ratings are the lowest it's ever been across all demographics. And Trump says, well, you know what? I have a 99% approval rate in Israel. I want to apologize, and I want to repent, Apparently, I'm not American enough to go to Freedom 250. But I still got my ticket, so maybe we'll just go. I'll bring the bell, and we'll just stand outside the gate, and we'll just let them know what we really think about Trump and Israel,
I like his idea. If he truly did get a ticket and he was actually banned after getting a ticket, which seems true. I know there's a lot of humor and sarcasm in there, so it's hard to tell like what he's telling the truth about, but I'm guessing that is true. And I love the idea of doing like a bullhorn outside and just being a protester. I got invited to Turning Point like 4 years ago, and then they like rescinded my invitation because they were like, it's actually very similar to what Sean was talking about. I think they saw my tweets criticizing Turning Point about the Israel lobby. This was like 4 years ago. And they were like, ooh, sorry, like we can't let you come to the event. And I told them, I was like, I'm going to go to the event with a megaphone. I'm going to stream it. Like I'm an activist outside your event, just letting people know why you banned me. But then they called me back and they were like, oh, this person said you can come. Sorry about that. And I was like, so lame. So, I do believe Sean, because this exact thing happened to me at Turning Point, and I was going to do the same thing that he was going to do, which is just stand outside and be an activist. Like, really, you're going to ban me because I criticized Turning Point for sucking up to the Israel lobby? So with Sean, I think there's like multiple angles to it. But if what he's saying is true, and he really got a ticket, and then they took away the ticket, then I do believe it probably is because they saw that he was criticizing Trump, talking about the Epstein files, talking about the Israel lobby, saying Trump is sold out, talking about AIPAC. It's very plausible because, like, outside of my own opinions, I always try to leave my own bias aside and do a good job of like analyzing stuff. As somebody that knows Sean, not personally, but like I really like the UFC. I'm like a big fan of sports and the UFC specifically. Sean is like a risk. He is a liability outside of his opinions, like his actions. He's gotten in a fight with Dricus du Plessis at an event, which is a liability if it isn't scripted. I don't think it is, but it's not good for legalities to like fight in an audience and you could like hit somebody else. Then he jumped in and fought somebody when he wasn't fighting, and he literally got suspended for that. So even though I'm sympathetic to what he's saying about, I got banned for the Israel lobby, it would make sense to me if the White House was like, dude, we can't have Sean Strickland here. He's too crazy. Like, he might jump in the ring. He might fight somebody. Like, we got politicians here. We can't have that. However, if he literally got a ticket and then they literally took it away after they gave him a ticket, they already knew who he was before they gave him the ticket. Like, he's already done that stuff in the past. So if that's true, what he's saying, then I do think it's probably his opinions, and it's pretty corny, but I guess I would just say it's not like super surprising at this point. Like, the Trump administration is super corny. Like, they've gone from being a big tent for, okay, Thomas Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, but then we're also going to allow in Lindsey Graham and Mark Levin. It's turned into like only Mark Levin, only Lindsey Graham, no Sean Strickland, no anomaly. Not that I'm important enough to even really be in that conversation, but I'm sure somebody there knows something about me. No Candace Owens, no Tucker Carlson's, no this person, no that person. We're just going to have, a bunch of people who agree with us. And it's super lame. So like, I think it's corny that they did that. I love that Sean's speaking out against it. And, at the end of the day, whatever it takes for people to start realizing what's going on, some people are going to have to get banned from events, but as long as, the masses are figuring it out, then is what it is. I wanted to play this clip real quick of Sean Ryan because I noticed something that the top 8 podcasts, 4 of them are conservative leaning and they all disagree with Donald Trump in many ways. So it's like Trump has kind of lost a lot of the popular culture that he used to have like 2 years ago. And there's this huge disconnect that I think it's interesting because the boomers are going to outvote the young people on the right, but they're not going to be able to win general elections. So there's this whole thing of like, Trump's super popular. We don't need to change. Like, it's okay what he's doing. And there's more people like Sean Strickland. There's more people like Bryce Mitchell. Like, these are a lot of the voices that are under 40 are figuring out the Israel lobby controls so much. And, I've talked about it so much. I don't want to be repetitive, even though maybe it always seems to be that way. And this is why I don't do as many live streams. Like, it's obviously good for business to do more streams. I don't know if it's good for my mental health to do as many streams as I used to do, but it's like, I don't want to just say the same thing every time. But at the same time, I don't want to just do things for clicks and be like, let me make 17 videos a week, when I think the major issue in America is there's a lobby that controls most of Congress. And the issue is not just that they're lobbying politicians. The problem is that they care so much about other things that they don't care about us. Like, the First Amendment doesn't really matter. Our financial situation doesn't matter. Our citizens, like, we pass speech laws for them and anti-boycott laws for them, but they don't do the same for us. So it just seems unfair. But anyway, this is something I saw Sean Ryan say to Megyn Kelly, and I thought it was pretty interesting that he's going this hard in the paint. So
Israel bought it. They bought the election. So what do we even vote anymore? What's the fucking point?
So he's like, Israel bought our election. He was talking about the Thomas Massey one and the Israel lobby. And then he's like, what's the point of even voting? Like, between that, Theo Vaughn, I would say, like, even Joe Rogan's slightly critical, but these Tucker Carlson, these are the top Republican conservative podcasts right now, and none of them really support what Trump is doing. And I I made this video. I'm going to play it real quick and go off of that. But, you know, I see Megyn Kelly talking about it a little bit, excuse me. She interviewed with Sean Ryan, and I made this. And like I said, I'm going to bounce off it because I put a lot of work into this. So let me play it real quick.
And he told me personally, MAGA will feel the way I want them to feel. I'll tell them how to feel about this, that, or the other thing, and they will. And he has been totally right on that. The problem for Trump now is that he has defined MAGA literally to those who agree with Mark Levin. If you don't agree with Mark Levin, you're not MAGA, which means you must be a neocon whose main issue is what's in the best interests of Israel. And that defines MAGA down to nothing. It's a nub. So what's that? It's not large. It's not important. It's not cool. It's not appealing to young people. It has no future.
I have to agree. Trump just won the popular vote, the House, the Senate. He was cool. Conservatives fought hard to win the culture war. Most major podcasts are still right-leaning. But if you look at a lot of the major right-leaning podcasts now, they're critical of Trump. They're not neocons. They're more America first.
I don't like the Iran war thing. I don't necessarily know there's a clear way to get out of this.
Because it starts to feel like America is just a shell company, an LLC for Israel. That's what it starts to feel like a lot of times, you know?
I just don't see any positivity coming out of this administration. It seems very self-serving.
You and I and everyone else who supported him, you wrote speeches for him, I campaigned for him. I mean, we're implicated in this for sure.
And there's been a massive generational divide between the boomers who believe the dumbest and fakest media ever and would literally follow Donald Trump off a cliff, and the younger people and the holistic health crowd and the anti-war crowd that helped Trump win the election. And here's the moment I really think it changed besides the Iran war. It's when Trump not only chose his donors, the Mark Levins, the neocons, the Zionists, in a way that he really didn't the first term. He kind of played both sides and was mysterious, like you never knew where he was going to be. He basically went all in with the neocons. And not only did that, but the election campaign was like, anti-war crowd, I'm the guy that's going to stop the Ukraine war. Kamala's going to start the Iran war, not me. I'm your guy. He went from being an open tent for everybody to basically putting up a big middle finger to some of his 2- and 3-time voters and being like, screw you if you don't agree with me. Screw you if you want to talk about the Epstein stuff. They're not going to win the general election like they did in 2024. Screw you if you don't want to take money from AIPAC and be an Israel lobby plant. Thomas Massie was the best congressman in America, and Trump and 3 billionaires spent unprecedented amounts of money to oust him out. And while they can win primaries because Republican boomers will outvote the young crowd, they're not going to win the general election like they did in 2024.
They can't afford groceries, they can't afford gas prices, they can't afford homes, they can't afford healthcare, and we're giving $16.2 billion to Israel. Never mind what we spent on this Israel's war against Iran, which no one wants.
Israel bought it. They bought the election. So do we even vote anymore? What's the fucking point?
So yeah, I've been putting some work into Reels because they get more views and just kind of like, you know, you could use them on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, etc. And I made that one. I thought the Megyn Kelly clip was interesting. I made another one too because I know Thomas Massie lost because they spent so much money on his election. I think like $20 to $30 million. But there's this other guy who ran against a guy that was funded in a previous election by Bayer. He was funded by AIPAC and Trump endorsed him. But then Turning Point endorsed the other guy and the other guy beat him. So I posted this reel and a lot of people were like, oh, Turning Point is AIPAC. Like, oh, it's just two sides of the same coin because obviously a lot of people don't trust Turning Point. But I think this guy that they endorsed is pretty legit. Like I saw he followed me on X. I saw he hasn't taken AIPAC money. He like focuses on his state. He doesn't make these like weird things where he's like, I got to go fly to a foreign nation and kiss the wall. So I think he's like legit. And Turning Point went against Trump on this endorsement, which was cool to see, even though I'm not asking people to like trust them or anything. But at the end of the day, I want to play this clip as well and just let people know. I think that the Massie thing was like a black pill for some people that were like, dang, like it doesn't matter. They got the best person out of Congress. But I do think they had to spend so much money and be so desperate for that. Like if you really think about it, between $20 to $30 million, Trump was like making videos about it. He was tweeting and he barely uses Twitter. Like I've never seen Trump post so much about an election. He tried so hard. They had to send Pete Hegseth. Like it was insane how hard they had to try just to beat Thomas Massie barely. So they're not going to be able to do that. I mean, they could try, but as long as everybody keeps waking up to the fact that they are doing that over time, it's not going to work. Like, it only works on boomers. I noticed something about boomer, not, I apologize because I love boomers, but a lot of some certain boomers, they kept posting on my Facebook page. They're like, Megyn Kelly took $25 million from George Soros. And I was like, is that true? Like, it's not like I really trust Megyn Kelly that much. She worked in mainstream media. Who knows like what she really thinks or who she's going to be in 5 years. But, you know, if she says something cool that I agree with, I like to piggyback off it and have my own ideas. However, I looked it up and I just like quick scanned it. I was like, has Megyn Kelly ever taken 25 million from Soros? And it was like, no, that's like a satire hoax going around on Facebook. And when you point this out, not all, but like to people that just don't agree with Megyn Kelly on the Israel lobby and they just love Trump and they just love Israel, it's like they don't even care that they're wrong. Like, they don't even care that they're posting misinformation. They don't care that Trump hired a Soros protege, Scott Bessent, who worked for Soros fund management, and then Soros gave him a $2 billion investment in order to start his own hedge fund. It's like the real Soros people Trump is hiring. Megyn Kelly, although she has a questionable media history, she didn't take like $25 million from George Soros, but it doesn't matter to boomers. They're just like, well, that's what I want to think. And I'm just thinking to myself, not all, but the ones that feel that way, it's like, if you're willing to lie to yourself about that, you can't even use AI for 5 seconds to scan to see if it's real. Like, what else? Like, aren't you intellectually curious to see what else in your worldview is a lie? Because like, if I posted something that was completely fake and it was like a satirical hoax and someone pointed it out, I'd be like, oh shoot, I'm embarrassed. Like, let me delete that. Let me like, you know, that's like not only embarrassing, but it's like bad for my career because it's built off of trust and being accurate. So I would like immediately delete it and, you know, fix it. But they don't, it's like they don't care about being wrong. It's crazy. And it's like when you talk about crime in inner cities, it's like it's not all this demographic, but demographically speaking, like there is, you know, patterns. It's the same thing with boomers. It's not all boomers, but demographically speaking, it's boomers who are going to vote for Lindsey Graham. It's boomers who voted for the Israel lobby plant in Kentucky. Like, that's the only demographic who believes this stuff. And it's because their whole worldview is a lie. And even if you point it out and show them, they don't care. It's like trying to teach the old saying, like, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. If they haven't been able to figure it out by now, oh, she's paid by Soros. And I'm like, that's not, like, you can make up 15 things that you could be like, Megyn Kelly sucks for this reason. But if you really cared about George Soros and money, it's Scott Bessent who Trump hired. It's not Megyn Kelly. But, you know, it's like, well, it's Qatar. It was Qatar. And I'm like, I've been saying this about the Israel lobby and free speech, and I've told people a million times how I started since 2019. How come nobody said anything about Qatar in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023? It wasn't until Zionists told them Qatar, 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 because my best guess, just based on like reading the situation, is Qatar is an ally to America like Israel, and Qatar probably doesn't agree with Israel, and Qatar has a lot of money to probably try to leverage and lobby Trump, and also, you know, the Muslim states that disagree with Israel. Obviously, they want to leverage their beliefs over Trump more than Qatar or another country that doesn't agree with them and doesn't want to work 100% in lockstep with them. So then they just accuse Americans of being Muslim or Qatar, because that is like, it's like calling you Russian. Oh, you like Trump more than Hillary? You must be Russian. Oh, you like Bernie Sanders more than Hillary? You're a Russian bot. It's the same thing. It's just Israelis and Zionists just calling people Qatar in order to try to turn everybody against Qatar. It's like, dude, I don't care about Qatar. I've never been to Qatar. I didn't even know what Qatar was 5 years ago. Like, I did, you know, I'm not like a Middle East expert. So it's like this country means nothing to me. I know they gave Trump a jet or something. You know, that's for him to decide, just like Miriam Adelson gave him money. Everyone's trying to lobby and please Trump. So don't call me that. You know, just be accurate. If you don't agree with me, explain why. But let me play this clip because, like I said, I think that good candidates are going to start winning over time, especially if they're not as desperate as they were against Thomas Massie. And like I said, time will tell. I don't expect anybody to trust any politician, but if we can vote out AIPAC funded candidates and people that are funded by the pesticide lobby, like Randy Feenstra, and let them know, like, listen, we are not voting for this anymore. You have to be better or you're going to get replaced by somebody better. They'll have to change over time or they'll just get kicked out of office. So this was actually a good sign, in my opinion. But if you disagree, like, I know there's a lot of people that are super jaded for obvious reasons where they don't trust anything. If someone endorses someone, they automatically are like, I'm going to play opposite day because I don't trust them. And like I said, it's completely understandable. Like, I have my own reasons for feeling the way I feel, but if you disagree, let me know. I'll read some comments maybe, but here's another video I put a lot of time into. Great news out of Iowa. A Trump-endorsed AIPAC candidate who took money from the pesticide industry, once took money from Bayer, lost his election to a man running against all of that on a Make America Healthy Again platform. And interestingly enough, Turning Point went against Trump's endorsement and endorsed the Make America Healthy Again guy. There's nothing conservative about pesticides, chemicals, and selling out to AIPAC. So it's nice to see some people stand up to Trump's terrible sellout endorsements when he makes a mistake or just doesn't care. And I want to say two things real quick. First, forget about politics. My generation is tired of being scammed on every level, but especially the food supply and the pharmaceutical industry. It's getting insane. I heard recently that Ozempic is going to be covered by taxpayers and Medicare. I mean, this is getting insane. But regardless of who endorses who, let's get some candidates that aren't sold out and keep an eye on them to make sure that they don't sell out. And two, as someone that's been in the news for like 10 years, AI is actually a lot more accurate than the news used to be. Like New York Times, Washington Post, Fox News used to get to control like everything. Now, if you use AI properly and you know how to pry it, if it gives you an answer that you're not satisfied with, it's a great tool for politics because you could search any politician and see within 10 seconds exactly which lobbies they're taking money from. And we need to make it normal to stop selling out, because right now in Congress, their norm is selling out to anybody. Pharmaceuticals, the Israel lobby, the pesticide industry, chemical companies, whoever has the money, they'll sell out to literally anyone. And then they're professional actors pandering to the left when they're Democrats, pandering to the right when they're Republicans. You have to think of politicians as ugly actors and not your friend, and then it makes a lot more sense. But if people use technology properly, the jig is up in Washington, and it's good to see people are waking up, because no matter if you vote left or right, if 90% of Congress is sold out to the same companies, the same corporation, and the same PACs, nothing will ever change. So hopefully some good news. And outside of politics, I think another way we can fight back against the system is with our purchasing power. If the demand for healthier stuff that isn't sprayed with pesticides and completely tainted rises, then they'll have to course correct sooner than later. Let me know what you think in the comments. God bless you. Hopefully you like this video. Yeah, so that's my video on that. Hold on. I'm a little thirsty, but I know some people think like that because like Charlie was killed and now like Erica is taking over Turning Point, etc., and like some weird people are in the heads of Turning Point, like they have this dynamic where they're like, Turning Point is super evil now, but when Charlie was alive, like it was super good. And I understand where people are coming from because there's a lot of weird people at Turning Point I don't like. But to me, like while Charlie was alive, Turning Point was like a big tent. It's like sort of sometimes they would endorse good candidates like Thomas Massey. Then they would have lobbied candidates. But, they kind of like played both sides. And so did Charlie. And I know the weird part about Charlie's assassination is he was starting to question the Israel lobby, who's getting called an anti-Semite. He said he was going to leave the cause a couple days before he died. So everyone has every reason to be skeptical about that. But when it comes to like this idea that Turning Point right now, like if they endorse somebody that I like, I'm not just going to play opposite day, because even when Charlie was alive, I would say like 80% of what they did, I didn't agree with, but sometimes they'd endorse good candidates that I did agree with. And I think that there's younger people at Turning Point, and even the ones like I noticed Alex Clark on Twitter, like she's very goofy on like the Israel topic, and she definitely like doesn't like Candace Owens, but she is good on the health topic. Like she cares about healthy food and getting pesticides out of stuff. So I think that's the dynamic at Turning Point, like that I'm reading it. yes, they're going to play ball probably with the Trump administration. I don't think they're going to do exactly what Charlie would have done. I think it's a massive tragedy that Charlie's gone, and there's going to be people there that try to drive it in a different direction than he would. However, I do think that even at Turning Point, even amongst all the issues, younger people are just like, I hate to be this way, but I just feel like a little bit is smarter, like the right word, smarter than boomers. Like boomers don't seem to like vote people out of office who are funded by pesticides. Like I'm not trying to be rude, but it's just like demographically, like 60 to 80% of Republican boomers, they'll sit there and vote for some guy who's funded by Bayer and pesticides and Big Pharma and APAC. And they'll be like, this guy's America first because Sean Hannity and Jesse Waters had him on the show and Trump endorsed them. And people under 40, whether they're critical of the Israel lobby or not, they're like, yeah, I don't want to eat poison for the rest of my life. That seems like a bad idea. I don't know what's wrong with like 80% of boomers. Like they're just completely like clueless. And, you know, maybe this isn't the nicest conversation to have, but I'm just being honest. Like, and I did research too, because I was like trying to ask, I was like, is this recency bias that boomers are such like a hated older generation? Because, you know, even boomers, like they love their parents, but you know, their parents were hard on them. So like everybody kind of has a love-hate relationship sometimes with the older generation because they're different. They think they know better or whatever. And the older generations are always more traditional. So I looked it up and I really tried to do deep research. I was like, are boomers the most hated generation of elders of all time? And they pretty much are. Like there's never been a generation of elders, I think, that's hated as much as boomers. And I think I know why. It's not to say it's right. I don't hate boomers, but the reason that most people do, whether they're left wing or right wing, is because boomers, like, you know, and I can't speak for all elders because I think like at a certain point, elders are supposed to be wise. Like if you listen to like Asian philosophy, it's like elders are the smartest people. It's like Confucius. They have parables, and like younger people are retarded and they're like, can you tell me something real? And they're like, be like water, my friend. And you're like, oh, let me be like water. You know, like elders are supposed to be super wise and smart. And boomers, it's not all, because there's smart boomers, there's wisdom for sure. But it feels like when it comes to politics, boomers are like retarded. Like they don't know anything about they can't figure it out. The left and right thing, on average, they're like, screw you, youngin'. And it's like, bruh, what part of this do you not get? But if you watch Newsmax and Fox News, it's kind of easy to figure out why these people believe this stuff, because the entire network is just Zionist goy slop propaganda. I'll just say goy slop because since now, you know, Sean Strickland's calling everybody a goy, it's a funny word. It's just like the most obvious goy slop. They're like, hey, you know, here's an expert on the war. What do you think about the war? I think what Lindsey Graham thinks. Wow, expert opinion there. Let's go to Marco Rubio. I think the same thing. I think these anti-Semites are really getting out of control. Let's go to Mark Levin. I think the same thing. Let's go to the commercial. Coins, 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 gold, 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 coins, gold, coins, gold, coins. Ozempic, gold coins, Ozempic, Monjaro, Mount Kilimanjaro, Monjaro. It's like, all right, back to, you know, Gary Stenchfield. Oh, it's Greg Gutfeld, the local court jester, to say the same thing, but in a funnier, edgier way. It's like, oh my gosh. But yeah, if I believe that stuff, I believe it too. And then they're like, what do you want Kamala to win? You want the Kamala to win? It's like, no, I don't want to eat pesticides and poison for the rest of my life because you're too retarded to figure out there's lobbies that control both sides of Congress. They're like, oh, that sounds liberal to me. Sounds like a liberal conspiracy there. What do you think? Jeffrey Epstein wasn't a Democrat? It's like, you don't realize that Jeffrey Epstein was serving a different tribe and it has nothing to do with Democrats or Republicans. It's like, oh, it's a liberal hoax, that Epstein. It's like, read the emails. Read what he wrote. You know, he's literally, there's one email where he says, the goyim have to work in the real world. That's you. If you're, you know, maybe there's some non-goyim here, which is awesome. We love our goys and non-goys, everybody, all the humanoids in the world. But you know, Jeffrey Epstein's like, oh yeah, you know, those goy, they have to like work real jobs. Like what we do is we make money on investments by doing this with shipping or whatever. And it's like, most goyim don't even know what he's talking about. They're like, what? Let me go watch the Broncos. And it's like, I want to watch the Broncos too. I'm a goy. I enjoy my goy slop. But, at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, I could see that Jeffrey Epstein, like his agenda was obvious. He's like, hey, leader of Israel, here's this company Palantir. Have you heard of them? It's like, hello, boomers. I just watched Sean Hannity. He had a great segment with Bibi Netanyahu. He said, if we didn't start the war, that, Iran was going to blow up every city in the world. I love, like, well, I don't love, but, it's funny when Netanyahu like goes on shows and he'll be like, Nelk boys, where are you at right now? And they'll be like, hey, we're in Miami, bro. We're just chilling in Miami with Netanyahu, bro. It's like pretty cool, dude. And he's like, oh, yeah. Iran was gonna blow up Miami. They could have at one point. It's like he literally just geolocates. He's like, where are we? DC. Oh, they could have hit DC for sure. Oh yeah, Paris. Yeah, Paris. They were gonna hit Paris. Oh yeah, Iran was just gonna blow everybody up. I mean, maybe. Doesn't Pakistan have nukes? Doesn't like North Korea have nukes? Don't a bunch of countries have nukes, but they don't do that all the time? But this country was. I'd rather them just be like, no, they were going to attack us and we needed help. It's like, all right, that's fair. I don't think like a lot of Americans would, I wouldn't like, I don't know the right word, but I get the dynamic of being like, we want you to believe that they were going to attack you because it seems less selfish than you just helping us. Like, I get that dynamic, but at a certain point, it's just like not that believable to anybody who's not retarded or over 65 watching like Newsmax or Fox News. So it's like, oh yeah, they were going to, hit Germany and France and Miami and, Utah. And, everybody was going to be speaking Russian if we didn't invade. They're doing the same thing they did during World War II, where they're like, the whole world would have been speaking German. It's like, is that true? Does it even matter? Because they'll just call you a name if you don't agree every aspect of like everything they say. It's like, do I personally think that everywhere in the world was going to be speaking German? No, but I don't want to get called mean names. So I'm just like, yes, Winston Churchill was amazing. He was the best. And it was so smart to work with Stalin, even though he killed a lot of people. But apparently that's okay because, we worked with communists. But now it's like the same. It's literally like the same story. They're like, if we didn't fund Zelensky, Putin would have taken over the entire planet. It's like, yeah, no, but okay. Yeah, he would have invaded the UK, not just a small section of Ukraine that literally like half the people are Russian. So, okay. Someone said Facebook took my account for talking about the Talmud and who owns the porn industry. They said I'm an extremist. I mean, facts don't care about your feelings, I guess, sometimes when the facts are not what they want you to say. So sorry to hear that. But someone said my dad watches Fox News and Newsmax all day and never turns it off. Dude, it's crazy. Like, I mean, obviously left-wing media is horrible too, but I watched like Fox and Newsmax sometimes, or just clips just to see what they're talking about. And like the entire thing is just like straight propaganda. They have no people there that have anyone like a Tucker Carlson is completely gone to counter them. So there's pretty much no counter. The counter's fake. It's like WWE. So they'll get someone that's like, oh, Ilhan Omar. And they're like, oh, Ilhan Omar, the Muslims and the Milwaukee, we need to send Nick Shirley. And they're like, oh, and then they're like, oh, Nick Shirley is going to save the world. There's no like intelligent, like, hey, I'm more conservative than Trump. I believe all the same things that Trump campaigned on. The only difference is I don't think we should send foreign aid everywhere because it doesn't make any sense. Like, I think Massey said something like sending foreign aid to somebody is like, watering your neighbor's yard when your house is on fire. And I mean, most people disagree with foreign aid. Like if you ask the average Republican, even the boomers, like, do you want to send foreign aid to Israel and Ukraine? They'll be like, no, but they just do it anyway. And then nobody figures it out. And then Trump endorses the people who are doing it. So it's like this cycle that keeps perpetuating. And I think, I don't know if this is like too much information, but I'm a very passionate person. Like I love life. When I want to do something, I'm like OCD. I have to do it to the fullest extent. I could do it for like 12 hours straight. But with news, it's very cyclical. And, I know, and there's things that I do want to do in general, and I have done, but it's like during COVID, things were different and changing all the time. So it's like, oh, let me do a bunch of videos all the time because it really matters. And like, nobody's reporting this, and it's all coming in real time. With this stuff, like it is what it is. Like the Democrats are fake. They want to open the border. They're retarded. They don't know how to run cities. Their prosecutors let people commit crimes. And Republicans are fake opposition. They work for Israel, and the Israel lobby doesn't care about anything but Israel. So if it's like First Amendment or Israel, they side with Israel. If it's anti-boycott laws or Israel, they pass anti-boycott laws for Israel. Someone's like, oh, but why don't you talk about China and Qatar? And it's like, okay, well, is there a Chinese law in America that says we can't boycott China? No. Why is there laws all over the country that says you can't boycott Israel to get a government contract? It's like, okay, so if that's so necessary here, our ally in Israel, do they have an anti-boycott law that says you can't boycott America since we give them billions of dollars of aid every year? That would make sense, right? No, they don't. They don't have that because they're not slaves. They're not a colony. We're slaves. We're a colony. We are literally, it's like, you can't criticize Britain. In order to get an American contract, you can't criticize Britain. It's literally just planting laws against the Constitution in America for a foreign nation. There's no other way around it. So, and my big issue with the lobby that I've always explained is if the lobby just existed and was like, hey, there's going to be this lobby and that lobby, and everyone disagrees on foreign policy, I don't care that much. Like, obviously, I do care when foreign policy is so costly, but in general, if it was common sense and we all had to compromise a little, not like compromise our soul, but like, compromise in the sense of like, hey, we work together. You don't always get what you want, but we go in the right direction. I'm a very thoughtful person. But when it comes to like the Israel lobby, it's not like that. It's at our expense on every level. Like if it's the First Amendment of the Constitution and the Israel lobby, the Republicans will pass speech rules and boycott rules for them. And then I speak about it and they say it's anti-Semitism. So that's why the lobby is so bad for America, is because they don't care about America. They care about another country, and they have zero shame to do it at the expense of everybody here. Someone said, Anomaly, since you got to hang out with Kid Rock, what does he think about Trump these days with his performance? Well, I'm going to show you guys that real quick because I didn't get to talk to Kid Rock. To be honest, I didn't even get to play against him. It was a double elimination tournament. I'll explain it. So I got invited to this celebrity pickleball tournament, which was super sweet. I'm going to play a clip here in a picture. There's me, dude. I was locked in. Here's the thing too. People are making fun of pickleball. I don't play pickleball. I only played 3 times before the tournament, but it was super competitive. Kid Rock was in it. He's actually good. Golden Tate, wide receiver, NFL, Terrell Owens. There were Eric Decker. There were a bunch of NFL players in this tournament, and most of them play pickleball. So I was at a massive disadvantage. I play other racket sports. I would say pickleball is my least favorite of all the racket sports. Like, I just don't like it that much. But I'm athletic, and I wouldn't say I train, but I tried for like a week or 2 beforehand. I didn't even know the rules. So there was a social bracket and a competitive bracket, and I'm competitive. So I was like, I'm not going to play in like the weak bracket with people who don't know how to play. I'm trying to like win it. So we lost the first game 11-7 against some dudes, and we were up 7-3. And we still lost, but we should have won that one. Then it was double elimination. We played somebody else, and we were tied 9-9, and we lost 11-9. We barely lost, and like it was just so close. And then if we would have won that game, we would have played Kid Rock and Golden Tate, which would have been super sweet. So I didn't get to talk to him. If I did, I don't think I would have like brought up the Trump stuff. I don't know. I've made videos. Like, I disagree with Kid Rock, like some of his policies. I've like joked about his video where he's like, if you don't like Trump, screw you. It's like, all right, bro. Like, I'm right here. Like, I don't really like Trump, but like, I'm not going to like start a argument at a celebrity pickleball tournament. That would be retarded. So to those who are like, oh, you sold out, oh, you're in the club, it's like, literally, I just got invited. My friend was friends with the guy running it, and he knew that I am good at some racket sports and that I could probably compete. So he was like, hey, do you want to play in this tournament? I was like, hell yeah. I like sports, honestly, more than politics. I like playing sports, not just watching. Like, I'm an athlete. So it was super fun. I came up short for my fans. I apologize. I wish I could have won. The guys in the finals were people who they were NFL players who played pickleball for like 5 years. They're like ranked players who play in tournaments. So next year I'll practice a little harder if they invite me back, but it was super sweet. And yeah, I didn't get to like talk to him, but like I said, if I did, I wouldn't have just like attacked his beliefs or asked him about politics. I would have more tried to like play it cool. And then like if we ever got to meet again in a setting that like it was appropriate, then I could like, have that conversation. But um I was just trying to compete. Like TO was there. I wasn't gonna like ask TO, like, dude, I saw your tweet, bro. It's like, bro, I just want to beat him in a game, and if the opportunity presented itself. Did I play pickleball in their new underground bunkers of the moon landing studio? Oh yeah, that was like the Adelson Lockheed Martin bunker. So yeah, I got invited. No, I'm just kidding. It was not in the bunker, but that's a whole other story. They just did a report and said that like a bunch of the donors for the White House bunker have gotten like billions of dollars of government contracts. Dude, I might have to make a whole video on that. Here, I guess here's the thing. It's like there's so much going on and I'm trying to be zen. Like I feel healthy, happy, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not stressed out. My life is good. But when I dive into something, I have like OCD. I have to do it like properly and be accurate. And it just takes so long. There's like 50 stories every day. Like I don't feel like diving into every story because it's like what's the point? Like, like there is a point to stuff, but if I do something, I have to do it right. And it's like I know there'll be a time where if I build the right team, I'll want to do that again. But it's like the stories, this like the overarching theme of every story that I could cover really deeply is the same. Like we need politicians that serve us and not people who pay them. And if boomers can't figure it out, unfortunately, I mean, this is very morbid and I feel sad about it, but most younger people are just waiting for boomers to go. And I think it's terrible. Like, I love boomers. Boomers are awesome. Like, it's amazing, but they like the majority, not all, let's just say like 80% of boomers, they don't care about anything that actually matters when it comes to politics. Like they just love Trump or hate Trump. Like they literally act like animals. It's like they have like one notch. It's like, I love Trump. I agree with everything he does. You're a liberal. Or they're like, I hate Trump. He's a Nazi, and it's like, how is he a Nazi when he literally does more for like Jews in Israel than anybody else? It doesn't like they don't make any sense on any side. So, most people are like, since we can't explain anything to them because they don't listen and they just like believe lies, we just have to be patient and just wait until, the youth. And what sucks is the youth is also retarded. So it's like people are like, yeah, it's going to be so great. It's like, is it though? Like, dude, go to any like major city. It's like a freak show, dude. Like, and I'm not someone who's like, oh, major cities are freaks. I mean, it just is that way now. Like the youth is even weirder than I was when I was in my 20s and like my generation was. Like there's some really sus activity going on out there. So who knows if Republicans are even going to have like the super majority, but we'll figure it out. What I think about the merger of the military with Israel, that's another thing. Like I want to do a video on it, but I have to really look into it. I saw the dynamics of like what's going on, and once again, it's like I could do a whole video about that, but here is like the issue that we have. Most of Congress is sold out to Israel. It seems like Trump is sold out to Israel. They prioritize Israel over everything. They want to merge America with Israel. They've already done it in many ways, and they want to keep doing it. Like I just explained the whole thing in 5 seconds. Like what, do I have to do a 15-minute video diving into it? Like, what's the point? Like, either everyone's going to wake up and be like, stop doing that, and they'll stop doing it, or vote them out, or they won't. So, I'm not trying to be like hipster about it. Like, what's the point? I don't even know. Like, obviously, like, it's my job to make videos, so I'm not trying to be like douchey about it. But I can't do something I don't like, and I've worked hard enough where I don't really have to do things that I don't want to do. So I don't want to half-ass anything for you guys. Like if I'm gonna lock in, I'm gonna lock in. Those reels that I did, like, might not look like a lot, but they took me hours between the research and the posting, and it's like I was inspired to do it. It was fun. Like when I like to do something, I'll do it all day, all week, all year. But if it feels like a task and a chore and it's not going anywhere, I don't want to run in circles, and a lot of people don't want to run in circles. Like I meet people where they're like, dude, I don't even want to look at news anymore because, even people watching this, like I try to be funny. I try to be lighthearted about it. Like you don't want to be freaking out about politics every day because it's been 10 years. There's been a lot of progress. We've made a difference. Like there's a lot of good stuff going on, but you want to be able to like handle it and be intellectually stimulated without being super stressed out and like bugging out about it. And I think a lot of people, they don't know how to handle it. Like they see bad news and it really bothers them and then they feel bad. And and a lot of people are so over that because it's like they don't know what to do. They're like, I don't get it. Like, the left is bad, but the right's bad now. Like that overwhelms them. They like feeling like, oh, let me just put my faith into the Republican Party and Trump and that'll fix it. So if you explain that it won't, they're like, let me go do what I want to do. And you know, I do think historically, like women didn't vote for most of human history. And it's like, if you talk to a feminist or most people in the world right now, they'll be like, oh, everyone was so sexist and now women have power. And it's like, yeah, you can have that opinion and that's fine. But what if it was like, and I'm not saying this is necessarily true, but I think it is. What if they just knew that everyone doesn't have to do everything all the time and women have so much to do that it's just better, just like the man will probably chop down the tree in the yard and the woman doesn't have to, like the man will go do manly tasks while the women are grateful. What if that's how politics were in the past? They were like, we don't want women to stress out about politics. We don't want everyone to stress out about politics. We'll handle the politics. And then they don't even have to think about it. It's like when you ask a woman, like, where do they want to go to eat? It's like they want, they want to tell you, but they don't want to tell you, but they want you to pick it out, but they don't, it's like these games where they're like, you just tell us where to go. I don't want to, I feel like that's how politics works. So now everyone's looking at politics. Everybody's working. Everybody, like the economy's affecting everybody. Back in the day, it's like women didn't really have to work that much either. They worked around the house and then women got sent to the workforce and now everybody's stressed out and now everybody's overstimulated. So I get that a lot of people are kind of consuming their politics in different ways. And I think that the appealing thing, like if you look in politics now, the top people are kind of doing it in a different way where it's like they're more into like the conspiracy around politics than they are politics because they know politics is bullshit. So it's not a bad trend. I think it's a good trend, but you understand what I'm saying? It's like talking about who killed Charlie Kirk is going to get 1,000,000 times more views than like, what do you think about the Iran war? It's like, yeah, I don't agree with it. Next. It's boring. It's the same reason people want to watch the NBA finals and they don't want to watch like grass growing. It's great that grass grows, it's great seeing plants thrive, but I don't want to watch it. So I feel like that's politics, and a lot of people are like, yeah, like what's the point? So when I'm in like a funny mood, I just try to be as funny as I can because if I make you laugh, I think that's good. If I'm honest and it feels good to listen to it, then it's great. But if it's like stressing you out, and I think that's why I like the short videos and also just like the long stream because it feels right. Like I don't know if it's like if I were, let's just say like all I cared about was like my business and I'm like, okay, what I want to do is just scale everything. I'd be making way more videos on everything. And maybe one day I will do that. I just have to make it fun and meaningful. Then it's, then it's easy to do. But right now it's like I could come every day and make the same kind of thing. And, it's just like at this point, it's 2026. If you can't figure out what's going on, like what is a video for me going to do? In 2017, I made a video and I said, hey, I voted for Jill Stein in the 2016 election as a protest vote. I didn't vote for Trump. Here's why I think Trump's not that bad. That got 30 million views probably. And I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying like it probably like changed the minds of like hundreds of thousands of people because nobody ever thought that way. It's 2026 now. It's not, you know what I'm saying? We were all learning then. During COVID, one of the things people say when they stop me in person or meet me, they're like, dude, you helped so much during COVID. Thank you so much. because like it was meaningful. Nobody was telling the truth, but it was like it was like this new horror movie we were all trapped in together, and we had to like figure it out. And I just had a platform to explain it and be honest with people. And now, it's like the Charlie thing is interesting. Like Candace, there's other people covering. I know like Baron Coleman is blowing up and stuff. He's like covering a lot of this stuff because it's like super interesting, the conspiracy of like what the heck happened there. But when it comes to like politics, besides that event and like Trump, the Israel stuff's really popular because everyone's starting to figure out that Trump's controlled by Israel, or the whole government seems to be, even though that's anti-Semitism, they say, even though it's probably true. You get what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be hipster about it, but it's like when I made videos in 2018 and 2019 and 2020, it was like revolutionary because nobody knew anything and we're all figuring out together. I guess I'm just like, if you can't figure it out at this point in 2026, like what is my video gonna do? Like, really? You've gone 10 years of Trump, Biden, lockdowns, vaccines, wars, Israel stuff, Palestine, Iran. And you're like, I never thought of any of this until I saw Anomalies. But it's like, really, like how? Like we all have similar algorithms, except for you freaks out there. You guys got a freaky algorithm. Repent. No, I'm just kidding. But it's like we all have similar stuff. Like someone sends you a video, you're like, yeah, I've seen it. It's like we all see the same shit. We all like how. What can I really do at this point? And I know, I'm a patient person. There'll be more times where things happen that I really can provide more value, and I'll be right there again. But right now it's just like, come on, like what part of this could you not possibly understand, and what can I possibly do or say that's going to actually make a difference and change opinions in a positive manner. Someone said not voting isn't the answer. Yeah, dude, I always get into like conversations with people where like I don't think voting is the answer. Like that's not going to solve all our problems, especially in the current day. But like not voting also like isn't the answer because it doesn't matter that much. I find this crowd a little weird, and if you disagree, that's fine. But the crowd that doesn't vote, but they think that solves the problem. Like I'm a smart person, right? So are you, I'm sure. I'm not like, oh, I'm so smart, you're retarded. No, I'm just kidding. We're smart people, right? Okay, I didn't vote. Okay, that's cool. That's fine. I never told you to vote. I don't care. But you're the problem if you vote. How am I the problem? Because the whole system would collapse if you don't vote. No, it wouldn't. Like that doesn't even make any sense. Because first of all, it involves ego, where you think you could stop 100% of people from voting. That's not real. I know I can't do that. If you don't know you can't do that, you have a huge ego. So let's say you could stop 50. I mean, already like half the population doesn't even really vote, but let's just say you could stop 70% of the population from voting. 30% will vote, and one of the puppets will get in anyway. So it's like, just like I think voting's not the answer. I just find like the condescending ego and the complete smugness of like I didn't vote, that's how you beat the system. Literally no. Like anybody with an IQ over 100 could figure out that that's not like the way to beat the system. It doesn't make any sense at all. It's like, oh, it's going to burn the system down. You're not going to burn the system down. You're literally just going to sit there typing burn the system down. And then you're going to go do what everyone else does during the day, which is fine. But it's like, let's just not pretend like you're fixing the whole world because you're saying like, I didn't vote. It's like, okay, me, if I'm inspired to vote, I'll vote. If I don't want to vote, I don't vote. I don't think it means that much. But, if there's a candidate like a Thomas Massey or somebody that's not controlled by AIPAC and Big Pharma, and the other one is, I might vote. And I think that will make a change to some extent. And it's like the people that think not voting changes everything, they're just like, they just talk to themselves. And I'm like, I don't get it. Like, it doesn't, like, I never said voting matters. I never endorsed Donald Trump, and I never told people to vote for Donald Trump. If you go watch my video too, I told people, I know Trump's a phony. I think the same things I thought about him years ago. I'm not endorsing him. I don't care if you don't vote. I think it's fine. I don't think it matters that much, but I'm voting for him because I want to close the border. I want to roll the dice with RFK, and I want to roll the dice with foreign policy, since I know if Biden's in there, it's going to be the same old thing. The border's going to be wide open, and the health industry is going to be the same shit it is. So Trump closed the border. He completely failed foreign policy, which I think Kamala would have done probably the same thing too. And then I don't know, RFK's been underwhelming, but like maybe like 5% effective. So like I never thought, I guess like if you watch, and not to complain, someone said my wife rolls her eyes when she hears Anomaly's voice. I'm sorry, Kirk's wife. I apologize. It's my world. I'm just talking to a camera and you're hearing it. It's very strange. But anyway, other influencers, like they were like, Trump's going to end the wars. Trump's going to do this. Trump's going to do that. And then now they're like, I can't believe it. He's evil. And I'm like, if you notice, I never get super emotional and I never say things that I can't prove. So if you go watch my stuff, I was never like, you have to vote, I'm endorsing him. I was like, I don't care if you don't vote. I don't trust him. I'm voting for him. I want the border closed. I want to see what he does. And another thing too, I don't know if I said it in that video, but if Trump didn't win, there's 4 more years of Republicans being like, it's the Democrats doing all this. Like the economy sucks because of the Democrats. The gas is up because of Kamala. She started the war in Iran. Like it never ends. And then in 2028, Trump probably would have ran again at like 82. And then we would have been pushed back like 4 more years. Whatever wakes people up, even midterms now. Like I think Republicans need to lose, because I think now that everyone's woken up to Trump isn't the solution, Republicans are like too useless and arrogant and ignorant, and Trump is now trying to gatekeep the party from all the good people. So it's like, I'm fine with them losing. If them losing speeds up the process of people waking up, then I think that needs to happen, because like the longer people think someone's going to come save us in this like establishment, the longer we're wasting. Like it's been 10 years of Trump, and it's like a lot of people have woken up, but he's gatekeeping the Republican Party and making it shittier. So, it like for me, this is another thing that, am I going to apologize like Tucker did? No, not at all. I don't feel even remotely sorry because I didn't endorse him. I just said I'm voting for him. I don't know what Tucker said, but Tucker feels bad enough to apologize. Here's the thing with other people. Like, and I like Tucker a lot, right? Did Tucker talk about the Israel lobby in 2019? No, I did. Did Tucker say that they were passing Israeli speech laws into America in 2019? No, he didn't say anything until like 2024. So it's like Tucker was way more into Trump. Tucker never called out Trump. He tried to save face because he knew Trump, and he like never criticized him or did reporting against him that often, except for the Iran war. I did all that. So I don't feel like, for me, it wasn't like, wow, I thought he was the solution and now I don't. I'm sorry. Like that's Tucker's thing. And that's fine if he feels that way. Seems like a pretty honest guy, but I didn't do that. We don't have the same trajectory. I told people 5 years before he did about all this stuff. I never wavered on it. I never lied about it. And when I voted for him, I never thought he was someone else. Like I knew exactly who he was. The problem is both sides are. So it's like, do you want the Israel wars with the border open, or do you want the Israel wars with the border closed? Like it's like, all right, well, close the border. I think demographically, if Mayorkas was there for 4 more years, like that's a huge L. So to me, that's the only thing Trump actually did right. I think he did like everything else wrong. It's like, wow, I'm saying trans sports can't play sports anymore. They're not even listening to you. It's like the states don't even care. Like everything's gay still. Like Elmo's gay, Sesame Street's gay, Yankees are gay. Like his little executive order like doesn't even do anything. The border's literally the only thing that he actually did right, in my opinion. But I never thought, like, even I told people he'll probably close the border. He's a wild card in these ways, and RFK hopefully does something. I never was like RFK is going to fix the whole system. I hope he does. He's done a few things, but I think he's underachieved, and I think he's underachieved because Trump is undermining him. Not that, he's completely like an innocent victim or anything, but, anything that RFK wants to do that's better than what Trump wants to do, Trump is sending in lobbyists and sending in sneaky, like chief of staff type people to undermine what RFK wants to do and make it impossible for him. So, not to like make every excuse for RFK, but it's really Trump. Like Trump kind of sucks, but whatever. Someone said, I actually thought Trump was going to sell out to Israel, but not to this degree. Yeah, me too, honestly. Like I had extremely low expectations, but he's even worse than he was first term. Like he went from being like 90-10% to like 100-0, to just being like, screw you guys, I don't even like you anymore. I was like, shit, well, thanks for telling us. One thing that I do think that I called and that I wish everybody was on the same page, I told people during the DeSantis Trump election, and this is something that I didn't see anyone else say this. So it's not to like pat myself on the back, but like, and I listen to everybody else too and see what they're saying. I felt like I was like on an island alone, and I was like, not Epstein's island, but that was I was gonna say something, but I don't feel like getting sued. I was gonna say that was Lutnick, but he wasn't alone. He was with his family, I think. But anyway, I didn't hear anyone else say this. And I told people during the primary, I said, everyone's telling you that Trump is like amazing. Everybody's telling you that like he's the hero because Alvin Bragg and Letitia James are going after him. And he's going to do this and he's going to do that. Like, I actually don't think so. Like, I told people I prefer DeSantis to win, not because I trust DeSantis, but I think he's actually conservative and Christian in a way, or Catholic. Like, I'm not saying he's a perfect Christian, but I think he actually like has some conviction, but he also works for the Israel lobby. And Trump has no conviction and he works for the Israel lobby. So I told people like this idea that DeSantis is such a sellout and Trump's not. Everybody lied to you. Like, literally everyone in unison lied to you. And that's why it's like, even people, sorry if I'm like screaming, but even people that like they're super base now, it's not to say that you can't change, but I feel like my resume speaks for itself. And some of like the biggest critics of Trump now in the Israel lobby, they were like, Trump's going to save the world. He's not DeSantis is sold out, not him. And I'm like, they're both sold out. It's just people like Trump more, so they just ignore it. And that was the whole reason I said I want DeSantis to win over Trump, is because one, I think he's better on domestic policy. And like, I think he would probably deport more people than Trump. Like, he cares, I think, way more than Trump does about that sort of stuff. And but at the same time, I think that DeSantis isn't liked. Like, people don't just make excuses for DeSantis all the time. So if he's like similar to Trump, slightly better, but at the same time nobody likes him, that's good. Because then if he started doing all this stuff, everyone would have been like, screw DeSantis. Like, do you notice these like Gunther Eagleman types and these like cat turd types? They're like Trump, nut gobblers. Like, it's like they're like Trump fans. It's like, telling cat turd or Gunther Eagleman or one of these retards like David Harris Jr., telling them that Trump did something wrong is like telling a Taylor Swift fan like that Taylor Swift's music isn't that good. Like, these are grown man-childs who like literally just suck off Trump metaphorically. They don't like DeSantis that much. Like, they like him, but probably not. Like, Trump's like, DeSantis is good. DeSantis good. DeSantis bad. DeSantis bad. They have no brains. They're literally retarded. So, if DeSantis wins, I was like, oh, everybody will agree with me, and then we'll all call him out together. So that was my thought process during the primary. I feel like it's true, and literally nobody else said it. I would say, I'm not going to name names, but think of like all the biggest libertarians, think of all the biggest Trump supporters, think of all the biggest, critics of Zionism on the right. Which one of them told you that Trump wasn't any less sold out than DeSantis? None of them. They all were like sucking off Trump. They were all like, dude, in my head, he's going to fight the system, and with Alvin Bragg, so he's going to fight the system. And I'm like, that's not true. And this is why you can't be a follower, because sometimes everyone just does what everyone else does. You know what I'm saying? And that's most of politics and media. It's like someone says something, everybody piggybacks off it. They say that, they say that. Like, a lot of people snap out of it 5 years later, and they were like, dude, I was an NPC. Like, and some of them like jump back to the left, and then they become liberals again, and they're like, actually, I'm a liberal. Or like, they were, critical of Israel, and now they're fighting anti-Semitism. Like, how many people have you seen that went from like one extreme to the other and then bounced out of it, where it's like, I don't know why people are doing that, but I never like, if someone goes super far there, I never follow. And then it's like, they're there, and they're running people all over the place and getting views off of it. And it is what it is, but it's like, I just never believe that. Someone said our military is too weak for mass deportations. Probably now, because we're all over the world. But with the whole Iran thing, I don't know for sure, because I can't like tell what's going on overseas. It's hard to tell. But based off of hearing how Trump's acting and like seeing all the stuff, it feels like Iran did better than we expected them to do, because it's like, Trump's like, I defeated their military, I defeated that, but he doesn't really attack them anymore. It seems like he's trying to back out, but he can't. I don't know exactly what's going on, but the whole like he yelled at Netanyahu story, I don't know if these are true or not. I know a lot of people were like looking into that. Maybe it's true. Like part of me thinks like maybe Trump is just like so easy to manipulate, and once everything starts working against him, then he starts like freaking out. But it's like with the vaccine thing. When Trump sold the vaccines, every Republican influencer was like, "Oh my gosh, Trump's playing 5D chess." And he's like, "No, I'm not. I love vaccines. They save the world." And like he's so stubborn, he'll sell whatever he did previously in order to like convince everybody that it was good. So I feel like the war is the same thing. Like it's possible that Trump is literally 100% sold out. He's in on it. He doesn't care. And this is all theater in order to get people to think he's going to change his mind when he won't. That's very likely. It's probably true. But let's just say he's just not an ideologue. He just goes for the power and the money, and he knows who has all the power and money, so he just agrees with them. They'll leave Trump on the side of the road like a carcass, and it's going to be his legacy that suffers. It's going to be, his family that looks stupid for, decades if Trump, humiliates them on a world stage. I'm not saying he is, but if Trump's legacy ends up like George Bush, where like the whole country seems like they don't like him, his donors and the Israel lobby, like they don't care. They'll just dump money into Marco Rubio. So there's a possibility Trump is like waking up to the fact that he's getting absolutely cooked, and there's like now they're never going to stop. And they told him, oh, it's just going to be like this quick thing, but they just needed to lure him into a quick thing in order to keep him there forever. It's definitely possible. So at the end of the day, either way, like the truth is the truth, regardless of what Trump's doing or why he's doing it. But I do think sometimes that Trump just is very easy to manipulate, and he just goes for like the quick money and power. However, he seems a lot less like he used to be like, I'm gonna blow you up, I'm gonna blow you up. Now he's not saying that anymore. He's like, I want to talk to this guy, I want to talk to him, I want to end the war. And it's like they're still talking shit to Trump. Like they're literally talking shit to Trump every day, and he's not talking shit. Maybe he's lulling them into false security and he's going to attack again. But something tells me that Trump realizes that what everyone was saying, that this is a bad thing to get into, and now he's trying to pull out, but Israel doesn't want him to pull out. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, but it's hard to tell. When am I going to interview Hunter Biden? Probably never, but his Twitter account is pretty funny. He's just like, I smoked crack. It's like, ha, look at the former crack. No, but he's pretty funny. Someone said he plays dumb when convenient. Trump, central casting. It's possible. Still find it hard to square DeSantis circling circle regarding COVID, but supporting Israel. I'm not sure exactly what you're saying. What about his COVID circle? Are you saying that in a good way or a bad way? Someone said those Cali ballot counts are nuts. Dude, Spencer Pratt was like a 60-40 favorite to win the election after the night that they started counting. And then as the nights have gone on, he's gone further and further down. And dude, the fact that they take 5 days to count when Florida can count their whole state in like 20, not 20 minutes, that's an exaggeration, a couple hours a night. Cali is a disaster. Like everybody talks about election fraud and cheating and stuff. And I think Republicans became the boy who cried wolf because they talk about it in a way that's like inaccurate. It's not that it's not happening, but they didn't talk about it accurately enough. They're like, it's everywhere. It's all the time. If it's everywhere and they hate Trump so much and he's such a threat to the establishment, why did Trump just win the popular vote, the House, the president, and the Senate? Like either Trump isn't a threat and he's a total puppet, which is obviously true, or he exaggerated a little bit, and not really exaggerated, but it was the 2020 lockdowns and mass mail-in ballots that caused the BS election. But Trump also let them do that, so he's like kind of in on it. But anyway, when it comes to like, oh, this and that, it's like, no, California, like everything Republicans say about everywhere is absolutely true about California. Like they're counting way too long. It should be illegal to count for 2 weeks, a week. Like, and as they keep counting, Spencer Pratt keeps going down, and then the morons keep going up. It's unfortunate because LA would be a great city if they just cleaned up homelessness, but they just don't do that. I actually might play my clip about that because I have to pee really bad. And yeah, let me see if I can find my like homelessness clip that I made because I've been wanting to pee, and that this is like a good segue to do that. If you guys TMI, let's see, is this the one? Let's look. I think this is the one. So of course it's too big of a file. Of course it is. I got to bounce it out real quick, but Spencer Pratt, I don't think he's going to win at this point. I think they're going to just keep counting ballots, unfortunately, but he has a good idea of like how to fix homelessness, and it's really easy. Like, it's actually not hard at all to fix homelessness. It would take like a month of somebody who gave a shit. Definitely be a little bit of a dirty job and a weird job because some of them are like disgusting and rotting. Like, people don't realize some of the homeless people are like, they've been doing drugs on the street for so long, they're literally like their skin, their flesh is rotting. I lived in LA and I didn't have a car. I walked around the streets for like 10 years, took buses, took trains. Dude, you get up close to one of these people, some of them, their skin is like bubbling. Like, it's literally like disgusting. In a sane society, dude, that person would have to go, bro. I'm just saying. Go somewhere for sure. Not there. Anyway, I'm gonna upload that clip. I'm gonna pee, and then hopefully that will solve all my problems in life, and then I'll have so much energy to just give back to my community. But all right, let's do it. Here is my clip, kind of piggybacking off of Spencer Pratt and saying, I think we could solve homelessness super simply.
So yes, it's a law enforcement thing because, again, the DEA statistic, 90% plus are drug addicts. People addicted to drugs do not want these services that Mayor Bass and Inside Safe and Councilman Rahman are offering. They want more drugs. When people are high out of their minds, doing the fentanyl fold at the parks next to kids, blowing fentanyl, shooting up next, these people do not want services optional. We need, as a functioning city, to take these people, put them into medical treatment, help them get sober, then go get them a bed.
I lived in Los Angeles for almost a decade, and I think I have the solution for homelessness. You can't have enforcement without compassion, and you can't have compassion without enforcement. Right now, there's compassion for the homeless, the crackheads, the zombies on the street, but there's no compassion for the families, the women, and the children that have to grow up in grimy, completely unsafe, destroyed communities where the parks are unlivable and filled with insane people. So the compassion is a one-way street, and the enforcement just isn't there. First, have a solution to help everybody. If you need a job, they'll give you a job. If you need a place to stay, they'll give you a place to stay. If you need mental help or drug help, there's facilities for those. Right now, they have help facilities, but because there's compassion without enforcement, a lot of people use the facilities as resources for food and showering, but they don't listen to the rules, and then they go live back out on the street. So once you provide a compassionate solution to help people, mental, job, physical, drug, any sort of help, you have to have enforcement and say it's illegal to camp on the street. It's illegal to destroy this park. It's illegal to completely create an underworld in downtown Los Angeles with no excuses, because you have all the solutions to help somebody. I really think it's that simple. There's just no enforcement and stupid fake compassion, but no compassion for the actual people of Los Angeles. And all their phony solutions for housing and helping people, there's zero enforcement involved with that help, so it doesn't actually help. In many cases, it makes the problem worse and destroys even more communities than in the first place. Just like good parenting isn't letting your kid do whatever they want and having no enforcement, people should love and fear God, and they should love their parents, but also fear the consequences of doing the wrong thing. It creates very shitty humans when somebody was raised by parents who let them act a fool with no enforcement and no correction. It's the same thing with adults. Letting somebody live on the street, have their body rotting, terrorizing communities, destroying parks all over California. How is that nice? That's fake compassion. A normal friend tries to get you off the streets. And yes, we need to be compassionate, but the people that think they're being compassionate have to admit some people need enforcement. A lot of people don't want to admit that. There's a lot of drug use and a lot of people who haven't been told no in a while. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I think it's really actually an easy problem to solve if anybody actually gave a shit. We'll see what happens. Good luck, Spencer Pratt. Yeah, so I said that in the nicest way possible because obviously a lot of people agree with me, but I'm trying to get through to people that haven't thought that way and that are like, thinking more liberal. So it's like, that's to me when I make a video like that, obviously I want anybody to enjoy it, but it's like if I'm going to be productive and actually try to make a difference, not that that video probably did, but it's like I got to get through to the people who don't agree with me and get more people to agree. But yeah, like most of them have drug and mental health issues, but the way to solve it, it's just simple. It's like first you be nice, right? You need a job, you need this, you need that, you need mental help, you need drug help, you need a house. And then if they don't follow the rules and they want to stay on the street, it's illegal. It's illegal to camp on the street. It's illegal to camp at a park. It's that simple. Like it really is. And then the problem has gotten so bad, it's going to be disgusting for them to like have to go downtown. If you've ever been to like downtown LA, Skid Row is literally insane. Like they don't want to do it because it's so dirty and disgusting. They'd have to go with like hazmat suits. But I don't know. Anytime I see like a city with like homeless and stuff, it's just like, what are you guys doing? It's gross. It's dirty. They don't know what to say or do. Just make it illegal. But they don't. So it just keeps getting weirder. Someone said elections are fake in a sense, and they're fake political theater, the whole show. I hear what you're saying. I mean, I think it's mostly true. I think it's mostly true. And I think if you win and you're not controlled, either they try to buy you, and if they can't buy you, they run you out. But, there's some real ones there. I don't know about Spencer. It's not like I completely trust him, but he has a good plan to solve homelessness. So I would like to see him win and see what he can do. And then if he can't, then it's like, all right, you failed. But it's an easy problem if you actually give a shit. But they build these facilities. I've lived there, so I know. They build these facilities. They say, oh, we're going to solve homelessness by building this, homeless facility in a nice neighborhood. Then all the homeless people start moving to that nice area. Now that neighborhood gets worse. They use the resources from inside the facility, but they don't follow the rules because there's no enforcement. So then they shower, they get their food, they do whatever, and then they go right back out on the street because they don't want to stop doing drugs and they don't want to have a curfew. So it's like it's literally the more you help them, the more it enables them because you're helping them in the wrong direction. It's like, here's a clean needle to do heroin like they do in San Francisco or whatever. It's like, what? It's just so stupid and so done poorly. But yeah. Tenderloin has to spray the streets down every morning to rinse the raw sewage down to the bay. It's so disgusting, bro. It's such like an environmental hazard too. Dude, if I were president with unlimited power, I would send the police, social workers together, a combination of like social workers, mental health people, drug help, and police, and be like, listen, you guys have 4 options, right? You need a job. There's lots of now hiring signs. And people are like, there's not that many jobs. There are. It's just not jobs people want to do. Like if you have a PhD and you want to make like 200,000 a year, you might be unemployed because they're replacing you with AI. But if you just, for like a crackhead, it's like, dude, he could work at a coffee. Like there's now hiring signs everywhere. Anything's better than living on the street. So it's like, okay, you need a job. Here's a job. You need mental help. We got mental help. You need drug help. We got drug help. But you can't stay here. And if you don't listen, you're going to prison. So figure it out. A lot of people would get their shit together. Like, a parent, it's the same thing. I know I said it in that video, but if you let your kid do whatever, they're probably going to turn out to be a piece of shit. If you have rules, even if they don't like it at first, like my parents, especially my mom, was like super strict. I always thought she was mean growing up. But then as I hit my 20s, I was like, you know what? She maybe could have done it in a better way, but she was right. I'm glad she did this. Like she made me a respectful person. And now it feels like most people are very selfish and they're not thoughtful. And I'm a very thoughtful person. And I think part of it is because my mom instilled good values and she was hard on me, but to do the right thing. So with homeless, like, you don't know. Let's just say there's like 1 million homeless people. If you were like, listen, do this or you're going to prison, I bet you half of them would just do it. They've never been told no. They're literally just rotting on the street. And the help that they need is somebody, giving them a kick in the ass and be like, yo, do something with your life. Like, this is disgusting. No one's doing that. They're like, yeah, just live on the street and rot on the freaking, like a lot of these people are talented people who've lost their mind to drugs, and sometimes it's hard to get that back. But I guarantee you, if you gave them the options, all these things are jail, you'd find out real quickly which ones needed help and which ones just needed a kick in the ass. And the amount of people that just needed a metaphorical kick in the ass is not 0%. It's probably like half of them. And then half of them are probably so far gone that maybe they'll never be able to get back to society again. But if you would have helped them earlier and gave them that metaphorical kick in the ass earlier, maybe they wouldn't be so like doing drugs on the street for 6 months versus for like 60 years. A lot of these people are too far gone because nobody's told them no in a long time. And the liberals are like, oh, we just need to build them houses. They have houses, they have facilities. It's not being done properly because Democrats will get a bunch of money and like build one house or something, but then you just vote them back in anyway. So a guy runs that seems a lot smarter and nobody shows up for him. So I don't know. But the longer they count, the more I think they're just cheating this election anyway. Someone said preppers in log cabin. What was this? Preppers in log cabin. What are you going to do about ticks and mosquitoes? Fair question. Someone said I have never not eaten because of a foreigner. Valid. I think it's one way to frame it. Politicians are more interested in bending taxpayer money into Ukraine and Israel. Yeah, and like, dude, I could make a video about this every day because to me, this is the most important thing. It's actually an easy equation. There's some people that have like an ethnic or tribal or religious bias, yes, but most of them, it's just money. Here's $2 million to work for Pfizer. Here's it. Like they do whatever they're paid to do. So the foreign policy lobbyists are paying them more than you're paying them. So everyone they're surrounded by in Washington, they go to meetings with AIPAC, they go to meetings with Big Pharma, like all the power. It's like if you bring a girl to an event, right? And you're like, yo, this guy he's the king of freaking England. The chick's going to be like, oh, that guy's the most powerful guy here, And I'm not saying that every girl just wants that because I think that's not true, but it's like, it's no secret how you get more things. It's like, oh, that's the guy who runs all of this. It's like politics is the same thing. It's like they know who has everything and who gives them everything. They don't respect us. They don't care about us. They literally hate us. Like when we speak out and we're like, hey, are you taking AIPAC money? They're like, you're an anti-Semite. They hate us. They hate us for telling the truth because they get millions of dollars from these lobbies and these people. So it's like, how dare you try to stand in the way? I want to be Marco Rubio one day. And the way I do that is by sucking off this lobby for the next 10 years of my life. Get out of my way, taxpayer. So it's really that simple. Is like the reason that they vote for Ukraine and Israel and not our Constitution is because they're getting paid to. And it's like boomers don't want to look at this. And same with some younger people too. But it's like, oh, I can't figure it out. Like what, it's like, oh, you're just a liberal. And it's like, dude, we're blessed in this country. I've said this a bunch in the past, but we have like opensecrets.org and they have campaign finance laws. So you can see they're not even hiding it. It's just the way they hide it is by making everything like Ted Cruz versus a liberal. That's their, and Newsmax and Fox News, that's their way of hiding it from like you by just focusing on something else. But we actually have the ability to know who's getting paid by who. And like 95% of the time, it's like, why is Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massey voting better than Don Bacon? Well, look how much money Don Bacon gets from the lobbies and AIPAC. And then look how much Thomas Massey gets from AIPAC and zero. Like there's a reason that they're right more often than the other people, is because if they took the money, they'd have to cave too. I think there's some sort of like, no one's just going to pay you hundreds of thousands of dollars for nothing. Like there's some sort of trade-off there that they want from you. So it's like super simple to fix this problem, actually, like especially with AI. Like I might make a video about that at some point. I'm not a shill for AI. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. But like I said in my earlier video, I've done the news for a while. 2016 to 2020 was like the worst because everything was mainstream media. So it's like Fox, like there was no Twitter. I mean, Twitter was there, but it wasn't dominating the news. It was regurgitating the news. Now nobody gives a shit about Fox News or New York Times or Washington Post. Like that means nothing. Like the news doesn't start from there. They're desperate for our attention and they're actually Not that they're doing a good job, but they're trying to do better now because nobody cares about them. So they're like trying to figure out how to be relevant again. But with AI, like if Randy Feenstra runs, right, I could say list all the lobbies who pays Randy Feenstra. It'll tell you accurately on Grok, like 99% of the time, because it scans all of their donations and just tells you. Like, even I use Grok, but it's accurate most of the time. And when it's not, I can kind of play with it a little and get it to tell me the truth if it's trying to like cover it up a little bit. It's such a great tool. It's a good researching tool, and it's also a good tool. Like, it would have taken me like 10 or 5 minutes to figure out all the people that Randy Feenstra has been paid by. But now with AI, I could find out in 10 seconds. So, I might make a video eventually to explain that to people. But if everybody smart used AI, saw who was buying off which politicians, and made them so unpopular that they either had to stop taking money or they had to lose their election to somebody who wasn't taking money, and more people ran, like the entire Overton window of politics would shift. But right now, they're clinging on to the donors and the money. And I think it's backfiring slowly this election. But as the years go on, it's just going to, I think the left is voting out pro-Israel candidates, not all of them, but a lot of them. But they're terrible for America. So it's like they're not good just because they criticize Israel. A lot of them are like stupid. But then the right is clinging on to the Israel lobby because boomers will still vote for them. So I think like the left is going to win. They're going to screw up a lot. And then the right has an option. Like, either people figure this out, we wake up as many boomers as we can, and we start getting in candidates who aren't paid, or, I don't know, we get cooked for like 10 years straight. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Someone said, I'm going to go move down by a river in India. I mean, I wouldn't do that, but if you want to live near a river in India, knock yourself out. It's a big country. I'm sure they got a lot of space. You're probably being sarcastic, though. I don't know. Someone said, anyone donating hundreds of millions of dollars to politicians isn't doing it out of the goodness of their heart. Obviously. I mean, Elon pretended like he was, but there has to be a trade-off there, right? I'm for free speech. I trust Elon a little more than Miriam Adelson, but I'm sure, if he didn't make that money back in government contracts, I'm sure he probably would have been pissed off. So let me see. Rise of the blue boomers. Well, it's going to be the younger blue people who are, going to buck the system on their side, but they're just going to hire like AOCs and stuff. Someone's annoying me. Okay. They're going to hire like progressives that are like communists and socialists, like a Mamdani type person. And the right's just going to be waiting for like boomers to wake up, or just like, we could slowly outvote them or something. Someone said, Elon, I'm for free speech. People who don't want H-1B visas exploited can't have that. Dude, Elon's H-1B crash out was terrible. That was a bad moment for him. Ever since then, he just sits on Twitter and like retweets God Sod. He's like, dude, God Sod made another good point. I love his book. It's like, bro, Elon loves God Sod as much as Trump loves like Mark Levin. It's like a love affair. They're like, Mark Levin and his show's on, everybody watch it. It's like, I don't want to watch Mark Levin. I'll read a few more and then I'm going to take off. I was a little under the weather last week, so sorry. It was like a combo of I was doing that tournament and also just, I didn't feel good last week, so I was doing other stuff instead of talking to my camera, aka you guys. Someone said, my Irish ancestors were forced from their home by blankish Zionists. I'm just going to say blankish. I don't want to get kicked out of existence. And forced to come work in factories and join the military to become goy fodder. Is that true? I don't know much about Irish history, but someone said, foreigners have their own economy here. Believe me, foreigners love Jesus Christ at a higher rate. I hear you, Kirk, but here's what I think is okay for people to say. I think as a Christian or just a good person, you should love good people, right? And everybody has their story, but we're being tricked by a tribe that is extremely tribal. And I'm not saying they're the only ones doing it, but there's a certain tribe where they're not doing mass migration. They're not trying to flood their country with migrants. They're trying to create migrants and flood our country with migrants. Like, literally, I could show you. I can make a 20-minute video and show you hundreds of examples for them advocating for our immigration, but not into Israel. Bernie Sanders is a great example. Even though Bernie Sanders is a Jewish leftist who's critical of Zionism in Israel, they asked him, like, what do you think about this happening to Israel? And he's like, oh, no. That would not be good for Israel. So it's like Bernie Sanders wants to flood America with migrants and call me a xenophobe, but for Israel, he won't do that. Like, there's clearly something going on here, folks. But anyway, you can love foreigners, but at the same time understand that, like, say I'm in Ireland, right? Dude, it's okay for Ireland should be mostly Irish. England should be mostly English. Germany should be mostly German. France should be mostly French. If you're importing a bunch of other people, you're allowed to, as a German, as a Frenchman, as an Englishman, as an Irishman, you're allowed to look at the people coming in and have an honest conversation and be like, are these people helping or hurting? And it's like with anything. Some people are great for the country. Some people aren't. Some people are just making it worse, making it more violent, making it shittier. And that's just reality. Like, anytime you add something, it could be better, worse, or the same. So there has to be an honest conversation about it. But, Irish people exist because Ireland has existed. The second that Ireland ceases to exist, Irish people are slowly going to be genocided ethnically to some extent. Their homeland is completely destroyed. So, I would say with America, this idea that America was always just a melting pot for the rest of the world, it's not true. Like, that's not the truth. For a while, it was England. Then they opened it to a lot of Europe. And it wasn't until the Hart-Celler Act that they were like, yeah, just flood people from all over the place, from India, from Africa. Like, I'm just being honest. That's not how it was before that. They had a certain idea that they only wanted certain people here. You can call it racist if you want, talk to them. But at the same time, I'm just accurately portraying history, and I'll give my opinion in a second. It wasn't until the 1960s. And then all these boomers that are like, wow, the country's so much shittier than when I grew up. Why? You know what I'm saying? Why? It's like when I go to a major city, it's like gross. And it's like, it's not worth it anymore. It's not that fun, and it feels weird, and danger and theft and crime has been normalized, where it's like, oh, that's just how it is. No, that's not always how it was. That's just how it is now, because you've just made it into like a nothingness, and then you have these politicians. So in general, it's like, you can love foreigners, you could love immigrants, you could love illegal immigrants, you could love everybody, and you can understand that there's millions of good immigrants in this country that mean well, that have families, that love Christ, that are just great people. But at the same time, you don't have to want to demographically change the entire country. For me, I'm just going to be honest. If I research a place to go to live, whatever, I look at the politics, I look at the crime statistics, I look at everything, housing prices, like everybody does, right? There's a pattern you'll notice in America, if you're an honest person, whether you want to admit it or not. A lot of the safest places are a majority white, and a lot of the least safe cities are a minority white. Take from that what you will, but you could find that pattern like probably over 90% of the time, if not more. So why do you have to be like, well, nothing matters? It's like, if I went to Ireland in 100 years and it's all Indians and Africans, I'm just going to be like, well, this doesn't remind me of the Irish girl that I used to know. You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't Ireland anymore. It doesn't mean you hate Africa or you hate India. Indians are cool to me. Like, I've always got along with Indians, but I've never been to India. They have a different culture. They like different music. They eat different food. India is a country that has its own problems and its own successes. Same with Africa as a continent, and same with certain places in Europe. But there has to be a balance of an idea where if you're a Christian and you love everyone, that's great. But you can't just say that and then say, well, then it's just racist to talk about demographics. I think as the country gets, more and more flooded with people from other places, it's going to lose some of its character. And it's like, I grew up around a lot of Indians, a lot of white people, a lot of Asians, just where I went to high school and middle school. And Asians are super nice, but most of them were quiet. A lot of them weren't. But they, like, even in my high school, Asians and Indians like stuck to each other. I got along with both groups because, you know, I'm a nice guy. So I had a lot of Indian friends. I had some Asian friends. But even in my high school, it's like when I was at my graduation, I didn't even realize how many Asian people there were because I never saw them because they just like hang out with each other. And same with a lot of the Indians. But like I said, I had a great experience with Asians and Indians. They were super cool. Don't commit a lot of crimes, in my opinion. So it was a nice, safe area. With that being said, you know, if you go to like Texas and you look in certain places now or Toronto, it's like being flooded with Indians who are not trying to assimilate. You know, even at my high school, even though there were a lot of Indians that did their own thing, there was like assimilation. But, you know, now it's just like, it just feels like people just want to conquer America. They're like, how many of our citizens can we flood to this place? And they're not going to, you know, fit in, and they're not even going to try to. They're just going to try to turn it into India. It's like, well, a person in Texas, like when I go to Texas, I don't want to go to India. I want to go to India and go to India. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go to Toronto and go to India. I want to go to Toronto and see Canadians and French people. Sorry, you know, and then I'll go to India sometime and I'll experience their culture and Hinduism and their festivals. And, you know, I'm sure I'll have a great time if I go to India. No offense, not a top 50 destination of mine, but, you know, I have no problem with Indian people and Indian culture. It's just Toronto is historically not India, and Texas is historically not India either. So, you know, it's like there has to be a balance of loving people, but being honest and being like, I don't think it's going to get better as it gets more diverse. I think in many ways it's going to get worse. You know, if you could say it's going to get better, why can I not say it's going to get worse? You know, it's it's lopsided, and especially Europe, they're being completely conquered and invaded, and their leaders are selling them out. And every time we get in a war, we just send them to Europe or America. And that's part of the plan. And this is like, you know, this is a level deeper than what I'm saying. I figured this out like 6 years ago, by the way. And I just, you know, I talk about it a lot, but for a while, it's not that I didn't talk about it. I just think I was a little more careful with how I said it. I'm still careful, but you get what I'm saying. It's like, you know, I was doing other stuff, so I didn't feel the need to like talk about this all the time. But when you realize what's going on, there's a certain group that is insanely selfish. They only care about themselves. Not only do they only care about themselves, but a lot of them, not all, but the people in charge, it's a 2-for-1 special. If they can bolster their country, use our country to serve their foreign policy while flooding the migrants that we're creating to our countries because they want to ethnically whittle us down because they think historically and they don't like Christians. They don't like Europeans. So in their head, they remember what Christians did to them. They remember what Europeans did to them. And they want to completely destroy both groups so they don't exist anymore. So, you know, and I don't know what you're even allowed to say anymore, but I don't really care. I'm just going to try to say it in the nicest way possible. A lot of what they say is happening is projection. Like they're nervous that someone's going to do to them what they want to do to everybody else. I'm not saying all people, not saying everyone's in on it. I think it's a very small percentage. It's like the same with like America's not responsible for our government. America as a group is not necessarily pulling all the strings. Like 1% of this tribe is the one calling the shots, and everybody is either just following or not following, but it's not really up to them. But in general, it's like people don't want to say what I'm saying because it's like, whoa, what are you saying? Like that's kind of crazy, you know? Like it's not like fun to say, and it's not fun to think because it's like it's kind of deep. It's way deeper than what most people are saying. But I believe that's what they're doing, using our country as a piggy bank, as a military tool. And the idea that it's like, oh, the left and the right, where it's like, oh, no, it's not the right. The right starts the wars, but then the left is the one that brings in the refugees. It's part of the same game. You know what I'm saying? They just exploit Americans. I don't know why I put that in parentheses, but I would say like conservatives that are like, oh, let's fight these wars, America, America, America. They use you. And then when they're done with you, they throw you to the side of the road and then they put a liberal in to open your borders. A lot of Republicans who watch Fox News and Newsmax and Daily Wire and all these people, they think, oh, it's totally different. It's not, though. It's not, because the people in control of both sides, they don't like Christians and Europeans. So they use you and lie to you and exploit you to get you to do things that you think are for you, but it's for them. And as soon as they're done and they have a lot of people, then they send them to Europe and send them to America purposely to ethnically whittle down groups of people that they don't like historically to eliminate them over time so you're not a threat anymore. And a lot of that sounds like what they say other people are doing. And I'm not saying this is exclusive to one group, but it starts to make you wonder how much of what they're saying is just massive projection. It's just massive. They cover for what they're doing by accusing everyone else of doing it. So they're screaming that while they're doing it to march forward, And a lot of people have been waking up to this because, it's similar to like, it's hard to figure out the corruption of big pharma until big pharma scams you and locks you in your house. And your boss tells you, if you don't get a vaccine, you get fired. And then I get demonetized for 3 months because I told the truth about big pharma. It's impossible to ignore now. So it was hard to figure out 10 years ago. It's not hard to figure out now. And it's the same thing with what's going on in the Middle East. Most people think that the genocide going on, if you asked, probably over half of humanity thinks that Israel's committing a genocide. I know that Fox News boomers don't, but a lot of people do, and in a lot of different countries and here. But that freaks out that group because they're like, what are you talking about? We're the ones who say that that's going on with it. Like, you can't say that because we're the victim. And it's like, I'm not saying no one ever did anything bad to you. I'm not saying that you can't say whatever you want about genocide. What I'm saying is, like, just because you say that people can't say that as you're doing really crazy things, it just makes everybody think that you're projecting because you are basically accusing others of what you're doing. And, people are living in this moment in the last 10 years, and that's what they're seeing, So then they believe that because they know the present more than they know history because they're witnessing it. So, there's a lot of people similar to COVID, they just can't ignore it anymore because it's so blatantly obvious. For me, I've told people, but I'm a nice guy. If no one bothers me, I don't bother them. If someone bothers me, I still don't bother them. It's like, I got enough stuff to do. I don't, I'm not a childish person. Like, you did this, I don't care. But nobody really, obviously liberals bothered me when I came out and said, like, Trump isn't that bad, for sure. But the biggest, like, career push, because, like, even as liberals were being like, oh, I don't like that you made that video and, like, saying crazy stuff to me, the Republicans were embracing me and were like, oh, thank you. You're invited to the White House. You can go to the Trump thing, whatever. Like, I was like, oh, dude, like, yeah, the left hates me, but, like, the right likes me. As soon as I started talking about free speech over the Israeli speech laws and the fact that Trump and DeSantis were, like, paid off by Israel lobbyists to pass, like, weird definition of anti-Semitism, I saw how the matrix worked and closed in on me. And I was like, wait a second. Everything's a lie on the right too. I thought for a year there, I was like, oh, this Trump thing is like the real deal. I figured that out in 2019. It wasn't, because everything that Prager was saying and Adam Carolla or whatever, they're doing no safe spaces, Ben Shapiro, Charlie Kirk, I realized they were all lying. They were all in unison lying. And they were like, no, we don't believe in safe spaces. But what about this one that you're creating for Israel? At first they didn't publicly do it. And I have friends at every company. So it's like, it's not like everyone's telling me everything, but I had someone that worked at Blaze TV at the time and was like, yo, they're calling you far right and an anti-Semite. And they said I shouldn't interview you. So at first they're not going to tell you because they would look like hypocrites. So they do it behind the scenes and they try to blacklist you, because they don't want their audience to hear what you're saying. And I've told people this for 6 years now. I know I say that all the time, but it's just accurate. I was like, the reason they don't want me on these podcasts, the reason that they don't want me to tell you this is because I'm right. And if you hear it, you'll agree with me. So it's like, why not just debate me like they debate liberals? It's all fake. Here, it's Ben Shapiro debating a libtard. Why doesn't Ben Shapiro debate me about this topic? Like, it's because he doesn't want to. It ruins the illusion. So anyway, there becomes a time where everyone figures something out. I figured it out earlier than some, but later than some. Some people figured it out 40 years ago. But I figured it out because it affected me personally. I saw how it all worked and whatever. You ignore that, right? Then the COVID lockdown happens. Not the same, but ignoring big pharma for so long, then it happens to us. Corrupt government, corrupt pharmaceuticals. Nobody cares. Now everybody cares because they did it to us. Same thing with that. Like, no one noticed before. Well, a lot of people didn't notice before the war broke out because it's like hard, obscure, And then the war breaks out and everyone notices now because they're like, dude, they're killing tens of thousands of people. Like, we're seeing the footage. And you listen to the people who say they're not, like their excuses and their talking points like don't make that much sense. Like, I understand war is crazy, like bad things happen, but there's certain, it's the same thing with like ethics and morals. Like, you know, in Christianity, there's certain rules. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt, like you have certain moral rules as Christians, and some people have a different set of moral rules. But sometimes we assume that everyone just has the same set of rules as us, but they don't. Republicans understand this when they talk about certain cultures. They don't have the same customs as us. So it's not that we hate them, but some people hate people, but I don't. But it's like, we don't want Minnesota to be like Somalia because it's just not the same. It's not our customs. It's not our culture. That's what a lot of Republicans say, but they can't figure it out about something else where it's like, you think thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. Someone else doesn't think that way. That's why they're killing so much and stealing so much, because they don't have the same set of moral values. In fact, they hate you. They hate your set of moral values. They hate Jesus Christ. They hate everything about Jesus Christ. They hate everybody who follows Jesus Christ with a passion. Not only do they not have the same moral values as you, literally the opposite. They hate you for believing thou shalt not steal and thou shalt not kill. I'm not saying everyone feels this way. I'm not saying it's completely common, but it's like, I don't think the average American is a bad person, but I think the average person in government is corrupt. I don't think the average person in America is guilty, but in politics, like most of them are bad because they're taking money from people who pay them to do things against our interests. So it's the same dynamic with foreign nations and other groups of people. It's like, Democrats get it with Israel, or they claim to, but then they cry about what Republicans say. Republicans get it with Somalians, but then they cry when someone says it about someone. It's like everyone's like half baked, like, bias, where they're like, they do the same things as the left and they do the same things as the right, but then they freak out when someone else does it. Like the people on the right that are saying like, oh, that's anti-Semitism. Like, you sound to me like Ilhan Omar being like, that's racist, that's xenophobic. It's like, these words don't even mean anything. It just means you're bad, you're mean, I'm good, you're bad boy. And it's like, okay. And then the right there, hey, you're anti-Semitic. It's like, you're just basically saying, oh, I love Israel and everybody's hateful who disagrees with me. It's like, it's so corny. But so that's the thing. It's like, what's the point of like being on a team when both teams are retarded? It's like, it's so stupid. Even with the Trump stuff, like I liked Trump a lot from like 2017 to like 2020, but I never called myself MAGA because I knew there might be a time where Trump lied or was wrong, and I have to do my job, which was news analysis, journalism. My job is not to suck off Donald Trump. I think that's Gunther Eagleman, Cat Turd, like David Harris Jr.'s job. Aye, Captain, I'm here to love you. It's like, bro, it's so pathetic. Like, these people are embarrassing, but to each their own. God bless them. I just think it's pathetic. But I was never like a professional Trump nut gobbler. Like some people, they're literally like, MAGA, I'm on a plane with a shirt that says MAGA. Look at the lamp turn. Yeah. It's like their whole lives are literally being cheerleaders. You might as well just give them pom-poms, like the Ted Cruz meme with the Israel pom-poms. But even when I was supporting Trump, I made a song called I Like Trump. It's still a great song. Listen to it. But anyway, I never wore a MAGA hat. I never said I'm MAGA. I'm a journalist and a news analyst who just thinks Trump is doing a good job. He's not that bad. The left is lying about him. They won't let him close the border. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like he's being honest. Like he's telling the truth about the war. So as soon as Trump started lying, it was easy for me. I'm like, I never declared myself a loyal Trump nut gobbler. Like, I was just like, I just happen to agree with him like 95% of the time. For a while, I felt like I agreed with everything he said. Dude, you had to be there. Trump 2017 on Twitter. I remember I was out at like, I don't know where I was, but I was in my 20s, so I was partying way too late. And I remember I was somewhere with, two cute chicks. One of them was Asian. I don't know why I remember that, but it's just what it was. But we were just hanging out. And I just remember like going on my phone at like 3 a.m. and Trump's up at night like a psychopath, just firing off tweets. and they were just such bangers. And like I was just like, yo, this Trump is crushing. And I lived in LA, so they were like, what? I was like, he's so funny. And I was like, he's so honest. I was like, he's killing it. Like everything he said was awesome. For like, he's not even the same person anymore. I don't even think he's running his True Social account. I think like someone like Dan Scavino or like that is posting a lot, because it doesn't even sound, not to say like Trump's innocent or anything. He's still way crappier than he used to be, but I don't think he's like in control of every post that he's making, because it doesn't even feel the same. But yeah, I just remember being out and like I was like at a club, but I was just reading Trump tweets, and I was like, dude, this guy is so funny. Like I just loved reading Trump Twitter tweets. And now it's all gone. Now I don't, but I never I never was like I'm a professional Trump fan. And this is another thing too. It's like if you buy the slop, they sell the slop, right? If you buy crappy foods, they sell crappy foods. If you buy healthier stuff that's more, I know it's a little more expensive sometimes, but it's like they have to shift the markets. And if you look at the food industry, a lot of foods have shifted to, as many are getting unhealthier and there's weird regulations, like healthy food is in again because everybody wants it. It's the same thing as people. Like I if anybody watched me in like 2017 and 2018, first of all, thank you for still being here. But also, like I used to tell people, I'm like, I don't understand why you guys are making all these people famous. Like I know why I got a lot of following, because I was making these analytical videos that were like deep diving. They took me hours. It's like, I know I'm getting more popular, but I'm working so hard. And it always bothered me, not in a jealousy way, but I'm like, you're making these people famous who literally just suck off Trump. They do nothing. They don't make news videos. They don't do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone has a job. Like what's their job? They're professional cock gobblers. They're professional pom-pom wavers. They're cheerleaders. They're like 70 IQ cavemen who just suck off Trump. Like, why are you making these people famous? You like, at least some people that I disagree with makes video. I don't like Tim Pool, but at least he has a show. You know what I'm saying? Like some people do something, even though he sucks. So, like there were so many Trump fans who just got famous being like, I love Trump and I'm black. David Harris. It's like what? Like what is he doing? He's not saying I'm sitting on a plane with a Trump shirt to see who gets mad. Cool. Very cool, bro. Very cool. But what would be cooler is if you served the American people the Constitution and criticized Trump, and these people too will be like, oh, I criticize Republicans all the time. It's like, yeah, when Trump criticizes Republicans, you just say what Trump says. Like, when have you ever challenged Donald Trump? When have you ever disagreed with him? Literally, these people are so up Trump's ass. If Trump was like, I like ice cream, they'd be like, I like ice cream. He's like, ice cream is evil. They'd be like, ice cream's evil. Like, that's the extent of their entire fame at this point. They have no, it's like, if I don't like this, I have to pretend like Trump's not doing it and just speak into thin air instead of talking about him. And I get why they do it too. It's the same reason that Tucker Carlson did it for so long. Trump is so petty. The second you disagree with him, you have to act stupid. If you don't, dude, Trump is so savage. Like he's just like, Tucker Carlson, he sucks. He was never a big ball player. Okay, I'm Aaron Judge. I hit home runs. And Tucker Carlson, he plays T-ball. He plays T-ball. He's an anti-Semite. He's Ilhan Omar. Okay. And then boomers are like, oh my gosh, Tucker Carlson works for Ilhan Omar. I just read it on a Facebook post. I don't know why they sound like Jerry Seinfeld meets a robot, but you get what I'm saying? It's like Trump will just like brainwash boomers to hate you. And then the boomer army will be like, how dare you, Tucker? I loved you for years, but as soon as Trump told me to hate you, I hate you now. I was like, okay. X22 report, that's that guy that's like, hey guys, it's X22 report. Are boomers listening? Boomers, are you listening? I'm 75, losing my mind listening to you. Aye, aye, Captain. It's really beautiful the way that Trump is like Q and Q is like the plan. Every time something happens, I just sit here and I make up a theory in my head.
oh, Trump just signed off for FISA to spy on us again. Maybe he's doing that to spy on Ellen DeGeneres so we can arrest the deep state. And people are like, oh, wow, the deep state's getting arrested. I just heard it on the X-22 report. He's been running me in circles for 10 years straight, but I'm still a loyal fan. It's like, all right, if that's what you want, you know. Someone said I fell for that before I found your channel. Appreciate you, Aaron. Yeah, a lot of people do. He's very convincing and he's very like, you know, intelligent with how he spins everything. It's like a, you know, it's like a choose your own adventure. Like, let's just say Trump takes $300 million from Miriam Adelson or something and then starts doing whatever Israel wants. The obvious thing is like, you can't take hundreds of millions of dollars. You have to do something. Trump is actually super transparent. This is the one thing I like about Trump still. He'll just tell you on stage. Like, he'll be like, she pays me and I do things for Israel and she wants things for Israel. And I think she likes Israel more than America. And her husband was really aggressive and he was in the White House more than anybody else. And they're always asking about things for Israel. So like Trump will like let you know, like, yeah, they're just paying him to do things for Israel. But then like X-22 report will be like, but what if reality wasn't real and he's endorsing Lindsey Graham to then make us run to the polls to vote against Lindsey Graham because Graham cracker barrel reminds me of what video game? Donkey Kong, King Kong, King Charles. Did you see Trump with King Charles in the White House? What else is white? My skin tone. Printers have tones in them. Think about a printer. What comes out of printer? Paper. Think about paper. What do rappers call paper? Economy, money. Paper is money. We're printing money out of thin air. Inflation's happening, but what else? Inflation. What do you inflate in the summer? You inflate a buoy, or rather a raft for your pool. We're inflating a raft for the pool because it's white boy summer. What comes after summer? Autumn, you might say, but think about it. Go back. What else can autumn be? It's fall. Who fell? Humpty Dumpty fell. Of course, we'll get to that in 5 minutes if you're still tuning in after my gold ad read. But Humpty Dumpty fell. But who fell off a bicycle? Do you remember? Joe Biden. Who also fell out of their career while they rode a bicycle? Think about it. Lance Armstrong. So now we're thinking Space Force. I know what you're thinking because, you know, I'm so much smarter than everybody else and you guys are so stupid you have to listen to me do this. But, you know, who else? How do you get from Lance Armstrong to Space Force? Because Neil Armstrong had the same last name. He landed on the moon. It was real. It was fake, but it was real. It was real, fake, real. You guys know it. If you listen to X-22 report a lot, you know what I'm saying. But Space Force is on the moon. Neil Armstrong did it. Buzz Aldrin, he can't talk about it, but he was there. Who else does Buzz Aldrin remind you of? Maybe Buzz Lightyear? I'm light years ahead of the Space Force. We're beating up China for sure. We'll save Israel for last. You know, that's what Q told us. But we're going to beat China and Russia from Space Force. It's no big deal. Obviously, force field of dreams, Dream Rare, DreamWorks. DreamWorks creates Pixar, Toy Story 3. Flip that. Goy Story 3. Are the Goys still listening? Okay. Goy Story 3. Jesse was the name of the cowboy. The Cowboys are in Dallas, Texas. Texas rapper. Think about it. Millionaire. We're all going to be millionaires very soon if you keep listening to my live stream. We're almost getting the deep state. We're this close. It's a little concerning that literally no one has been held accountable. Trump told us to stop talking about the Epstein files. He told everybody that Bill Clinton's his friend who he understands, and he wishes people stop talking about Epstein and Bill Clinton. And Howard Lutnick pathologically lied about his connections to Epstein, and Trump hired a Soros protege to run the Treasury. I know that all might seem like Trump's going in the wrong direction by working with 3 Zionist billionaires, including 1 Israeli citizen, to kick out Thomas Massie of Congress. But Thomas Massie's a rhino. The real patriots are Lindsey Graham, who passed away years ago. Someone is in a Lindsey Graham skin suit
It's JFK Jr. He also didn't die. He's in a Lindsey Graham skin suit, and he's actually who Trump's endorsing. So if you start to get concerned and you're like, you know what, I think this Q thing's a psyop, I think MAGA's a lie, Trump works for Israel, don't believe all of those phony patriots, because PAY patriots, they're getting paid to do that. They're just trying to throw you off the trail. It's much more logical to believe that Lindsey Graham passed away 5 years ago in a gay orgy in Tel Aviv. I'm just kidding. That's totally satire. And JFK Jr. is in a skin suit. I mean, that makes more sense, because now you'll keep worshiping Trump instead of being an adult and realizing that, he's selling you out. So, I mean, it's all really simple, complex stuff. Come back tomorrow for more, but we're doing things on a different level than most YouTube channels here. So thank you guys. Someone said, giving me a whole new perspective. Thank you. Well, I mean, somebody's got to tell you the truth. There's a lot of patriots out here who are like, oh, follow the money, follow the money. Yeah. Oh, wow. People are paying to do things for politics or whatever. Yeah, no, the paper's not even real. Money's not even real. So when Trump gets hundreds of millions of dollars from Miriam Adelson, it doesn't even matter. He may be making a bunch of money on very suspect crypto schemes, and his sons are getting government contracts and whatnot. And one of his sons has a part ownership in Salem Media, who has a literal foreign agent of Israel as their chief strategy officer. But it's important to just not believe your eyes and ears, because this is it's 1984. We have to be better than our eyes and ears. We have to just be retarded. And if we're all retarded together, they can't stop us. So imagine if that was my speech at like an autism convention or something. They're like, yeah, you probably shouldn't have given that speech. First of all, you weren't even a book speaker. You just literally just took the microphone from some kid. But besides that, yeah, that wasn't really appropriate. I was like, my bad. We all live and we learn. And now I know not to give that speech in an autism convention. Totally inappropriate. Totally messed up. My bad. I don't know. I was in the zone like Billy Madison. You gave me the mic. I just kept going. I thought it would help. I thought it was inspirational. I thought we were going to, see through the psyops together, but it's all good. Do I think the fruit of the spirit is in the USA flag? I don't know what you're talking about. Fruit of the loom, you mean? No, I'm just kidding. Believe in the UFC? I don't know about believe in it, but it is entertaining how the fighters can say what they want. People are like acting really weird in the comments, but that's okay. I just acted weird for 10 minutes. So I guess you get what you put out. You attract what you do. Let's see. Your grandparents were birthright citizen babies. Hate to tell you. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's how I would phrase it, but also I think, they had a certain flow of how they were letting people in order to make sure everybody assimilated. So I just think it would be wise to have a smart way of bringing people in and have like a method to the madness, not just like, screw it. I know they do have a method to the madness, but I've already talked about it. So we already had that conversation. We're on to more important things. I'm probably going to go for 5 more minutes. I got to pee again. I've been just chugging water, but my throat is a little dry. So the water, I don't want to bore you guys, but I'm like a science major. Not really. I dropped out, but water, liquid, I'm saying dry. It's like rain ends a drought, similar to that, but let's get back to the stuff. Yes, the chat is loving foreigners again. I mean, I think it's nice to love people. There's good people, but you could love and have a conversation. Every conversation's not hate. Some of the most hateful people will hide their hate behind like a flag that says love and peace and something. But then if you disagree with them, they'll like spurg out at you. So it's whatever. Someone say it's the gayest month of the year. I mean, it's really weird to see Sesame Street pushing that. They're like, did you see that? What is it? Andy Ogles tweeted like homosexuality has no place in America. And then he had to apologize. He was like, I'm sorry. That was my intern who said that. And it's like, It's just so corny to say that and then apologize. Here's the crazy part. All right. I have to pee so bad. Can I like play a video so I could pee and then come back? Cause I have something to say, but I'd rather just like have a lot of energy. What video should I play? Let's see. I'll play the first one that I played. So I got to hurry up. All right. I'll be right back. Sorry about that.
Well, you guys, I'm not surprised, but I got the call. I got the call. I got the call. The UFC higher ups called me, the big names, and they said, Sean, I gotta apologize, but you're not Israeli enough to go to UFC 250 Israel edition.
Did you see that Sean Strickland got banned from the White House for talking about Israel?
I'm not surprised at all. I mean,
the White House didn't clear you, and I'm not really surprised. I'm not really surprised. So, I think moving forward, I would like to just apologize to Israel. I'd like to say I'm sorry. I'd like to apologize to Trump, and I just want to prove that I'm Israeli enough for you guys. Like, for instance,
freedom of speech is what really makes this country great. And when you can't criticize a foreign nation, come on, man. We ought to be able to criticize our own nation, let alone a foreign nation. In fact,
all right, I'm back. Sorry about that. So I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible. I need some more water. Sorry, my throat's a little dry. So Andy Ogle said homosexuality has no place in this country. Then he apologized and said his intern said it. This is why Republicans are controlled opposition, not because everyone needs to tweet against homosexuality or anything, but the entire culture is basically all driven by the left. Like sports teams, like the most manly conservative things are all promoting homosexuality, right? As a Christian, I'm not saying everyone's perfect. I'm not saying you have to like hate somebody. Everybody has a friend or whatever. But the reality is that it's being promoted everywhere. And a Republican politician apologized for saying it has no place in America. Just think about like the psychology of that. Sesame Street's not apologizing for promoting homosexuality to young children, which is insane. No sports team is apologizing for pushing homosexuality onto their fans, but a Christian conservative needs to apologize for saying what the Bible said. I mean, the Bible doesn't say no homosexuality in America. I don't think it even talks about America in the Bible because it didn't exist until 1776, but you get what I'm saying? It's like that. This is who Republicans are. It's actually like super embarrassing. It's like, say what you mean and then stand by it if you mean that. Ask Andy, my intern said it. So do you think homosexuality should be in America? Andy, I don't know. Like, yes, you do. Why? You a big fan? It's like, I don't like it. Like, I don't, I'm not God. I'm not the president. So it's like, to make a statement like this belongs here, this doesn't belong here. Okay. That's like a statement. Like you're going to like, okay, he made it. Then he apologized. It's just funny. Like mean what you say and then stand by it if you mean it. And if you don't mean it, then don't have someone say it. I guarantee he believes that. He just doesn't want to say it because he got so much backlash. I think personally, the way that like sex in America is being sold and like the casualness of it is not natural or normal. And like we're in a generation where like people have a lot of casual sex, but they don't get married and they don't have kids. So like, that's not good. In my 20s, I didn't think this way at all. I mean, I didn't want a kid out of wedlock. I was smart enough to think that way, but I didn't like think about anything. I wasn't thinking about what the Bible said. I wasn't thinking about what was right. I didn't think about biology in the sense of like, oh yeah, like you have sex and then a kid pops out. Like that's not what we're told. When you're young and you're in college and you're in your 20s, the culture is like the coolest thing you could do is have sex with a chick. That's the coolest thing you could do. It's so cool. It's so cool. And it's like, it's not like that cool. Like everybody still thinks it's cool. But it's like, it can create a kid. So like, that's what sex is for. It creates a baby. So, now we live in a society where there's more unmarried, mother, like 30-year-old women than probably like ever before. There's more people that are unmarried men with no kids. Like the trends of all that are going in the wrong direction. And then they're just bringing more people because people aren't having babies. But then you have to apologize for saying something about homosexuality. As an individual, I don't judge anyone, and it's not like I'm going to tell anybody anything. I think I try to treat others the way I want to be treated and have compassion and understand that, everybody's flawed and everybody has things that, isn't perfect. Like nobody's a perfect person. But with that being said, it's like, I don't think that cocaine is good. I don't think that drugs are good. I don't think that most pharmaceuticals are good. Half the country's on pharmaceuticals. It doesn't mean I hate half the country. It doesn't mean I think I'm better than you, because there's things that I'm doing wrong. But I don't have to apologize to the world and say, I'm sorry for saying I don't like pharmaceuticals. I don't. Some of them are good, but most of them, like, I don't like Ozempic and Mounjaro and all this. Like, I think it's insane. I think this country has gone insane. Half the country's fat. Everybody's on pills. Now they're doing injectables. I think it's nuts. And I'm never going to apologize for saying that, because it's not a personal attack to over half the country. It's just the reality of what I think. And then I could admit, like, yeah, I'm not a perfect person too, but I'm not apologizing. That's just what I think. I'm not holding you to a standard that I don't hold myself. I don't think most drugs are really great for people. I don't think alcohol is good for people. I drink sometimes, but I don't think it's good. Like, if you quit, then quit. That's awesome. I barely drink, but it's like alcohol's not good for you. In small doses, it could be okay, but it's probably like, if they did a prohibition right now and they said no more alcohol, I wouldn't even care, because I know some people are like, but that's bad. It's like, dude, we don't need, like, people will figure out something. Maybe, it backfired back then, or they said it did, but I wouldn't even care. Gambling, I've gambled. I would be fine with them outlawing it. They should, in my opinion, they should outlaw Polymarket, Kalshi. If a Christian politician came in and said no more gambling in America, I'm fine with it. It doesn't mean I'm a hypocrite. I've gambled before, but if they took that away from me right now, that's fine. I think they should. Oh no, I'm going to save more money and stop wasting money. Wow, this is so bad. It's fine. I'll just get another hobby. I don't even do it that much anymore, but you get what I'm saying? It's like, it's fine. It's better. So it's, to me, sorry if this offends people, but it's like, I'm starting with easier things, then I'm going to get to the harder stuff. I think having sex out of wedlock is a bad idea, but people do it all the time. I'm not going to judge you. I don't have all my answers figured out. I don't care. But if you say, I don't want to do that, then that's good. But if you're like, I'm doing it all the time, that's on you. But I don't have to pretend like I think that's the right thing. The same way I could look at what I was doing in my 20s and be like, that was not ideal. Like, that was not the ideal way to think about everything. I was stupider, but I was never that stupid. You get what I'm saying? Now with homosexuality, it's like, it doesn't create a kid. It's like an unnatural way to do something to not have a kid. So it's like, that's just what it is. And some people do it. It's like, some people drink, some people do cocaine, some people gamble, some people do this. Some straight people have sex out of wedlock all the time. Some people are giving these people STDs and, having baby mamas all over the place. Do I have to pretend like some dude that knocks up 7 chicks is awesome? Like, that's a great thing to do, because I don't want to offend all straight people who bang a lot. No, I don't think it's the right thing to do. I think it's wrong. So with homosexuality, like, it's embarrassing to have a Christian conservative apologizing, Like, if you say, I don't think alcohol has a place in America, and you mean it, stand on it. If you say, I don't think gambling has a place in America, you're going to piss off a lot of people, because a lot of people like to gamble. But if you believe it, it's the moral thing to do, stand on it. So why is everyone so much more afraid of, like, homosexuality? I get it. It's like, would you apologize for saying that you don't think a guy should bang 7 women and have 7 different baby mamas? Would you apologize for saying that? No. But then you're going to apologize for saying something about homosexuality on Pride Month when Elmo and Sesame Street's pushing homosexuality to young kids. Like, these people are pussies. It's like, they act so tough. They act so strong. They act so Christian and conservative. And it's not a contest. It's not like I'm the most breath person ever. I'm not. I'm not a bad person, but it's just like, I'm not a perfect person. I'm not like, I haven't been like living a perfect Christian life since I was 18, not even close. But I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to, like the same thing I did when I was 19 and 20 and 21, I don't do anymore. Not because I hate who I was, it's because I'm trying to be a better person. Like if I meet a woman who I like or love, and she says, let's get rid of these bad habits that you have. I'm like, yeah, thank you for making me better. It doesn't mean I hate who I was yesterday. It's just like, that's a better way to live my life, vice versa. So, like, no Republican seems to be able to say that. It's like, yeah, transgender sports, that's obvious. That's easy. I know you get a lot of heat for that, but it's like, it's probably a good idea unless it's a co-ed league to keep it that way. But like everyone is like, oh, it's got to play. It's like it's everywhere. Like the last thing we need is like a Republican just being like, I'm sorry. Sorry for what, bro? Like say what I don't have to be sorry because I'm saying what I mean. I gamble, I've gambled, but I think it should be outlawed completely. I think it's bad for society. I've had sex out of wedlock. I don't know if I think it should be illegal or something, but it's like, it's just, there's a reason it's not smart. And, even with all of this stuff, it's nobody's fault. It's not women's fault or it's not men's fault. Like everybody likes to blame each other. It's the world we're living in. We're being fed lies. Like they're telling us to do everything wrong. And then they're telling you guys, oh, the good guys won all the time in history. And, the bad guys always lost. But now you live in a society that's like completely replacing themselves because they've brainwashed men and women to do retarded stuff. And it's like, we live in a time where like the food is worse than it's probably ever been. It's flooded with pesticides and all sorts of weird stuff. People are fat. There's like diseases making a comeback that like weren't even common now, were uncommon. Now they're all common. It's a great time to be alive. I'm not pessimistic. I'm just saying it's like homosexual. There's a homosexual month where everything's gay, including kid shows. I mean, that's like insane. It's like we're living in an insane time. So sorry if my voice is loud. Just turn the volume down. I apologize. Like why don't they have to apologize for pushing it on children? Why does the Republic it's just like so crazy. And this is what Republicans do though. They always take things, I wouldn't even say to the extreme because they don't do anything. They just beat their chest and say the most edgy thing they can and then they apologize for it. It's like you don't have to be so edgy about it. Just say what you mean and be respectful. I'm respectful. Whatever you do, I'm not judging you in the sense of like, oh, you're a horrible person, but I'm not going to pretend like I think something that I think is bad is good. I don't have to do that for anything else. If I think alcohol is bad, do I have to pretend it's good if I'm around an alcoholic? If I think that having sex out of wedlock with a bunch of chicks and banging a bunch of chicks and creating baby mamas is so like I have to pretend that that's good because somebody's doing it. No, it's like I don't think that that's good. And same with all this pride stuff and homosexuality. It's like it doesn't mean someone's a bad person or irredeemable or I don't know. That's for God to decide. But for me, it's like they could eliminate gambling tomorrow. I think it'd be great. They could eliminate alcohol. I wouldn't care. I wish they would crack down on crime and other stuff like that. I just don't think these are like necessary things for society. And arguably it would be better without it. But I just find obviously liberals are like insane. So I don't even talk about them that much because I don't even follow what they're doing because they're just so far detached from what I think that I just don't even register. It's not interesting for me to be like, look at the liberal. Yeah, we've done that for 10 years. We get it. Republicans fascinate me because it's like they'll talk and you'll listen to them and you'll think they're way more right wing and Christian or whatever because they're just so loud and they're obnoxious and they're annoying and they're like, screw you, liberal, But then when push comes to shove, they're not fiscally conservative. They're like communists and socialists. They print money. They're international socialists. They give money to Israel. They give money to Ukraine. They give money to their friends. They give money to Big Pharma. They're socialists for everyone but you. So it's like, who cares what they say about it? Like, they're like, socialism sucks. Socialism sucks. You guys are socialists. So it's like, you're just socialists to everybody that pays you. So it's like, fiscally, I consider Republicans like far left. I don't care if you don't see it that way, but I just think they spend and print a lot of money and they're not even remotely fiscally conservative. And then socially, I think they're liberal and feminist. Like, even the loud ones, like, just because they're really loud and they're like, I love traditionalism. It's like, cool, bro. You know, they're more annoying than me. People hate them more than me because they're obnoxious and they lack compassion and they lack empathy in their message. But when push comes to shove, I consider them feminists and liberals. Like, you go to like a Republican event, it's like there's a bunch of boss babes there. Like, I'm a boss. I'm in my 40s. I'm crushing business. It's like, that's fine. Cool. Do business. I don't care. Like, anyone can do what they want in this country. I'm not going to judge you. But in my opinion, it's like a feminist liberal convention. It's like cosplay. They just like wear cowboy hats and stuff. And like, nobody's even remotely right wing. It's just like a Trump dick sucking event where they just like, talk, like, just make fun of liberals, but they don't do or believe anything. I'm not saying you have to be mean. I'm not saying you have to be angry about it. But for me, it's like, I don't think they're right wing at all. And like, being conservative or Christian doesn't mean like, let me use an easy example, right? I don't think a Christian, and I'm once again not judging, but I don't think a Christian should promote gambling or like work with a gambling company to get paid in order to promote gambling. I like to play poker. I like, I've gone to the World Series of Poker before. I've gambled. I gamble. But I'm not ever going to take an ad and promote it on people because I don't think it's good. I think it's bad. I'd feel bad getting money to push it on people when I think that's not good. If you don't gamble, don't gamble. You're missing literally nothing. It's not good for people. With that being said, how many Christians are selling Kalshi ads and Poly Market ads? Trump's kids are on the board of one or two of the companies. It's like Trump is pushing all this stuff, or people in his administration. It's like, being right wing or Christian doesn't mean sucking off Donald Trump. Like, he's not like, at one point Christians actually believed what the Bible said, and they'd be like, you know what? I shouldn't push gambling on people because it's immoral. But they're like, we promote gambling, we print trillions of dollars, we promote feminism, we promote liberalism, we love the based gays who vote for us. Trump loves the gays who vote for. It's like, it's literally just like a Trump nut riding convention where people just cosplay as like mean Republicans, but they're literally just libtard fans of Trump. It's like kind of hilarious. People like, there's people who follow me that are left wing on Instagram, and they're like, Anomaly, you're center left. I don't care what you call me, because it like everyone's perception of everything is molded by just bullshit people anyway. So it's like, I don't care what people say anymore, but I'm not center left. I just seem like I'm center left because I'm nice. I'm a nice person. I'm a kind person. I'm a thoughtful person. I don't hate anybody. I don't hate you specifically because of this or that or this. I'm nice. So I seem nicer than most Republicans because I am. But just because they're mean and annoying and obnoxious doesn't mean they actually stand for anything. It's like they'll piss off the LGBT community more than I do, yet they'll do nothing at all. They'll apologize to them 2 months later. I have nothing to apologize for. If I ever get in trouble for saying something, if I meant it, I'm going to stand by it in the nicest way possible. It's like, I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm just like, this is what I believe. I think certain things, even for me, it's like every day I'm trying to be the best version of myself and keep working and do a good job in life. But, I fall short all the time, but I don't lie to myself and be like, you know what? Alcohol's really good now. Let me just drink every day. Then I'm going to be a loser. So it's like, that's what I think about modern sexuality. It's just like, I'm a guy. It's like, obviously, I'm attracted to women, and yeah, obviously, but it's like, does that mean that it's like, I don't know. It's like what everyone thinks is normal, it isn't normal, and it's not healthy for everybody to do all this stuff. So if I'm not going to have to pretend that just banging a bunch of chicks and getting people pregnant is good, I have to then pretend like I think homosexuality is amazing. Like, why? Why would I have to do who's like, but that's what Republicans do. They're like, dude, gays for Trump. It's like, I get it. I get the dynamic of it. But I remember I went to one event. I got invited to like play a show and do like a panel at an event, right? And there were like gays for Trump there, or log cabins or whatever. And a lot of them are super chill, nice dudes and whatever. But I remember like after the event, there's a bunch of people in the lobby, and it's like husband and wife, people that are dating each other and stuff. And there were two gay dudes just like making out, like gross, but just like unprofessional. You know what I'm saying? Like you're at a networking event, and like they don't even have the respect to like go back in their room and do it. Like you got people that have been married for 20 years that aren't just sitting there like making out like in public. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not the right place to do that at a political event at like 7 o'clock at night. But the gay dudes, like, it's like, what I'm saying? That's the Republican Party. Like two gay dudes making out when all the straight people there at least have the respect to like do that in their own bed, like just go do it. You can't do that. But because it's like no one ever says no to anybody, I'm not here like I'm dictating society, but it's just like weird. Like, why is that a lobby? You got the Israel lobby, you have like the big pharma lobby, there's the gay lobby and the Christian conservative party. It's just goofy stuff. But did I wear leather chaps? No. Someone said I do all the time. I'm not perfect though. I'm a major sinner. I don't know what you're saying you do, but it doesn't make you a hypocrite unless you're being a hypocrite. If you say to somebody, this is just my opinion, but I think it's true. If you're like, alcohol is an easy one. You drink alcohol, you're an evil demon. Screw you. You're going to hell. It's like, okay, but if you also drink alcohol, now you're a hypocrite. You're like freaking out at a person for doing what you're doing. So as long as you're just honest about it, where you're like, I don't think it's good. I don't think you should do it every day. I do it sometimes, but I don't think it's that great either. Like I drink alcohol very sparingly. I drink alcohol less than most people, but I don't think it's good. I'd be fine with stopping completely. I don't have a problem, but if I ever it's not good. It doesn't mean I'm hating someone who does it all the time. I just don't think it's that good. So it's the same thing with like sexuality. Can't you just be like, I don't agree with that, or I don't think it's like the best, but it's not a world police where I hate you forever because of what you're doing. I just think that, I don't think it's everything that everyone does is great all the time. And there has to be a way to talk about it without one being a hypocrite, but also just like being like, no, I have to pretend like it's all good. It's like, that's what the Republican Party does with everything. It's like, we're against printing money, but I guess when Trump prints money, it's okay. It's like, then you don't care about it. Now you are a hypocrite, because if you only care when Biden prints money, then you don't care about the printing of the money. You just don't like Joe Biden. You might as well just be a sports fan, because what you're against safe spaces and you're for free speech and you don't believe in policing speech. But when the Republican Party does it for Jews in Israel, you don't say anything. So you never cared about that. You just pretend to. You're just lying, Someone said, what's stopping you from stopping? I barely drink alcohol. I probably drink like once every like 3 weeks. So what's stopping me is the fact that I'm barely ever doing it. I probably drank a total of like 6 times this year, like 7 max in the entire year. So like I like to get drunk sometimes, but honestly, the older I get, like if I go out and drink, dude, it like throws. I saw that video that went viral. It's kind of funny because everyone was like making fun of the guy. He's like, I can't drink any wine. If I drink a wine, I miss my podcast and I'm so tired. And everyone's like, you're a pussy. Like, you're so weak. And I get it, because he sounded super corny, but there's elements of truth to both sides. It's like, yes, on one hand, he did sound a little like beta-y, or just like kind of like feminine, where he's like, I drink and I feel bad. And then, like everyone was making fun of him. But at the same time, I get what he's saying, because if I go out and have like 3 drinks, dude, it throws off me for like 2 days. I wake up later, I eat shittier food at night. I'm tired the next day. You know what I'm saying? Like my whole cycle of how I'm like waking up and doing stuff, it's all thrown off. So it's like alcohol to me, it does do that, but it is really fun to get drunk though. Like if I go out and drink and go out, 95% of the time, I don't wake up and be like, dude, I really regret drinking and going out and having fun and dancing. I don't regret it at all. It was amazing. And it was like worth it's like working out. Your arms hurt really bad. Oh, it's so hard. But then you get jacked and it's like, oh, it's worth the pain. Like alcohol is not good for you, but sometimes it's worth it and it's really fun. If you can drink responsibly. But yeah, it's like I don't identify myself with alcohol. I don't identify myself with gambling. I don't identify myself with like sex. Some people are like, like that's what I think about homosexuality too. It's like people, they're identifying with it. Like I've said this on my show before, but it's like imagine if someone's like, I'm the blowjob guy. It's like, what do you mean? You're like, I just like getting them a lot. It's like, okay, but like, why is that in your Instagram bio? Like, that's weird unless you're like a corn star, So like, to me, I know this isn't popular, but when someone like identifies themselves or they're like, I'm gay, it's like, that's your identity. It's in your bio. Like it's just weird. Like, it's weird that that's like a thing. Why is that your whole Tim Dillon's gay? And most people don't even know because he's just really funny. And he's like, I'm a comedian. I'm an American. You know what I'm saying? It's like, people don't even know that he's gay because he's like, he doesn't identify, like, like he brings it up once in a while. I feel like it's really weird to identify as that, but that's like a controversial statement in this society. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, I just said what I meant. Like, it's just like, I think calling yourself that and you're like, this is who I am. This is it's like, okay. Like, and what am I supposed to be like impressed? It's like a guy putting in his Instagram bio. He's like, I bang a lot of chicks. Like, would you ever put that in your Instagram bio? That's like the corniest thing ever. Whether it's true or not, it's corny. But you just got to think it's good if it's the other side of the coin because, it's really cool now. It's really not. It's really not cool. It's really weird. The whole world is like unnatural. And I feel like it's interesting because like if you don't have conviction to something, whether it's like politics or religion or a worldview or some sort of philosophy, you're swimming in a world of hell. So I feel bad for people that don't have any conviction to anything because they fall for everything. And this is like the worst time to be alive, to just be in the culture. It's one of the best times to be alive, but it's one of the worst times to be alive to have no opinions because it's like the commercials are disgusting. They're just filled with Ozempic, Mounjaro, pharmaceuticals. Like I can't even watch. I like watching sports, but I like mute the commercials. It's like, I'm so spiritual and sensitive to things that I allow in my life that I don't even want to hear that stuff. Like, I don't want to hear the side effects. I don't want to hear what they're pretending like everybody has. I don't believe half of that crap. But the commercials suck. The mainstream music is evil. The culture they're telling everyone to do is messed up. It's like feminism. It's homosexuality. It's be a boss chick and just, ignore everybody and don't settle with a guy. It's this, it's that, it's pills, it's injectable freaking Ozempic. Like, imagine not having conviction to anything. Like, that's why so many people are suffering. And even like during COVID, the people that powered through COVID were the people that stand for something. I don't want to take it. I don't want to, I don't want to take the vaccine, and I have a right to do that. It's like, if you have conviction, you were able to stand up for yourself. But people that had no conviction are like, okay, 1 vaccine, 2 vaccine, mask, like literally just like slaves floating in the abyss. It's like bang, 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 bang. Shove you want to test? You want to test up your did that just hit my brain membrane? Oh, well, you don't have COVID. I just shoved something up your brain. It's like, dude, fuck that. Excuse my language. Now COVID's gone. Everything seems more normal because it kind of is. But that's like, I don't know. It's like, it's hard to fit in with everyone when everything's retarded and you just don't want to do it. It's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this. I don't, it's like, it makes you seem crazy. But to me, I feel bad for people that don't have conviction and they don't believe in something enough to understand what isn't moral, because then you're just getting cooked by every industry. They're exploiting you. And this is one of the most annoying things about America and why I care so much less about like the left and right fighting, because they're both doing it. It's the immorality. Like Trump is like, I'll make money however I can make money. The dude doesn't care. Crypto, like he doesn't care. He's just like, I want to make money. That's the problem. You have to have certain conviction and just be like, it's not nice to do this. It's not good. But that's the world we live in. All the money is in the most unethical industries. When you work at certain places, they tell you to do unethical things and sales practices. It's like nobody cares anymore. Like everybody knows it's not right, but they're like, but that's what my boss told me to do. That's how we make the money. It's like, well, this society only changes. Yeah, you can vote, and yeah, you could get a better prosecutor in, or you can close the border. These things matter. I'm not telling people that they can or do have to vote, but the overarching spirit of our community and the spirit of America, it's so much deeper than just like right versus left. The right's super based and the left is super gay. It's like, that's definitely part of it, but like the right is so scammy. Who cares if a bunch of these like Israel lobby losers can be like, screw the left? It's like, wow. You just said something that 99% of human history has always known, and you said it on a pedestal at Turning Point. Wow, you're so brave, and you're fighting the Rainbow Coalition. They're not doing anything, because it's like they talk about 10% of what's going on. Not only do they not talk about the root of it, but they literally work for the root of the problem, pretending to be on your side. And it's like, say what you want, but mean what you say, and say it honestly, and be as nice as you can be. And if you don't want to be, then don't be nice. But people don't like not nice. So it is what it is. But I think in general, like the social issues are interesting, but it's not interesting when you know that the people pretending to fight for your social issues are working for the people that aren't, are causing a lot of the issues, or at least responsible for them. So, I think even deeper than left versus right, even deeper than like, gay month or whatever this is the fact that most people just want to make money. It's like pushing gay on Sesame Street is insane. It's like hyper levels of insanity. But also Republican Christians pushing gambling, feminism, their version of liberalism, inflation, wars against our interests, and then providing no solution for all the problems they complain about. To me, it's like it's maybe not as like degenerate, but it's kind of almost just as bad. We need to make it so people can make money doing the right thing. You can't be like, how do you make money in this world? Well, you could sell this pyramid scheme, or you could work at this pharmaceutical company, or you could work for this scammy lawyer, or you could work for this pharmaceutical company, or you could work for this liberal gay tech company that's pushing censorship, or you could work for this Israel First lobby, or you could work for this. It's like, that's where all the money is. The money is in all of that. And a lot of it too, I don't feel like getting into all of it right now, but a lot of it, the government is like subsidizing it. So someone said to me the other day, they're like, you're mad that, taxpayers are paying for Ozempic, for Medicare, for people that need it? And I'm like, well, here's the issue is Big Pharma always gets government contracts. They always work with, scammy insurance companies. So it's like they're making a product. I don't know about that one, but I'll just use a hypothetical for another one. They're making a product that costs them $5 to $10 to make. They're selling it for $500. They're probably charging the insurance companies or you more. They get thousands of dollars for it. And the government buys the doses of the Pfizer and the Moderna, and they just get $100 million and $1 billion from that. So it's like none of these, in my opinion, schemes or scams would be working if the government and the medical insurance companies weren't subsidizing it. So it's like, I don't not want someone to get medication that they need, but it's all the subsidizing and all the government contracts and the socialism that makes it impossible to beat. RFK's there, and nothing's changing because the system is too rotten to its core. And it's like, oh well, you don't want it on Medicare. No, I don't think they don't have a good track record. And in my personal opinion, maybe it's like a last ditch effort, but what are the side effects on all these things? And let's just say, you have this or that because you're so huge. Maybe you need medication, but maybe you also just need to try to lose weight naturally, and maybe a lot of your problems go away. Maybe they don't, but it's like the more they subsidize, the worse it gets. And like, that's like the whole system right now. So how do you fix that? I mean, on a personal level, I think you just have to be the change you want to see in the world. Like I said, I don't sell gambling ads. I don't I don't push products and stuff that I don't believe in. So it's like I try to do my small part where it's like I run a business, but now I'm working against the grain. It's definitely not easy. It's not as easy as like taking money. Like if Kalshi or Polymarket came to me and offered me like 100K, it's hard to turn down that much money. I'm not saying they did, but everyone else is selling it. And why are they doing it? Because it's like, well, they pay a lot of money. Well, why do they pay a lot of money? How do they have so much money? Like, where's all this money coming from that they're paying everybody? Are people losing money gambling on war and sports? And, so now, like, how do we stop that? It's like people got to find ways to create businesses or work for businesses that do things the right way. And I do think that there are a lot. I don't think it's like I think because the world has gotten so wicked and backwards, and I think a country and a government has a responsibility to morality. It's like I'm not a full-blown libertarian where I think like the government has very little responsibility. They have a responsibility to, they have a military, so it's like protect the nation on that level. But really, it's like if there's any role for the government, they like, why is everything scammy? Like, do you think it's that way in every country? Like, does Serbia hate their people that much? Are they spraying pesticides and everything, and everything's a pyramid scheme or something? Probably not, because they're like, oh, I like our people, and yeah, we're gonna make money. But I think there's other countries that have certain rules where they're like, we're not gonna do all that because we know it's wrong. America, it's just like, do whatever you want, doesn't matter. We'll just make some money. It's not that cool. But I've noticed that in the times of darkness and the wickedness from the culture, everybody yearns for something good. If you're being fed garbage, people yearn for real fruit that's not sprayed. If everything's evil, people yearn for something that's positive. So what I've noticed is there's a lot of businesses and a lot of food places that are thriving by doing better. We don't have any seed oils. We don't want that. Everything's organic here. Like these places are making a fortune because they're few and far between. But something to think about. I think anybody, like for me personally, I want to launch a few businesses. I mean, I can't right this second, I'm busy, but I have a few ideas for things that I want to launch. But any business I launch in the future from this point on, whether it's food or some sort of product or anything, my thought is like not to go, because there's a few ways you can go when you start a business. Most people try to go profit margins and be like, okay, what's the cheapest thing I can get? How can I upscale it and sell it for the most? And that's like the best business, right? Like I got this for $3. I convince people it's $50. Like we're making $47 every time we sell it. If we could sell it to 1 million people, we're rich. We can like that probably works. But there's also, business wise, there's so much competition now. Like it's so hard to create a cheap product and convince people it's not cheap because there's 1 million people doing that. So not only do I think this is a good idea, but I also think that, this is what I want to do personally, is if I launch any product, I want to make sure it's like the best. Sometimes it's hard to do that, but like, is it the most organic? Is it the most all natural? Because if you can make a product, regardless of what industry it's in, and it's like, bro, I don't know why I said bro, but it's like the best one of this, like it's the healthiest ingredients. We've gone further to try to make it even better. Then I think there's a huge market for that because there's like hundreds of millions of people who don't want all the filth. They don't want all the, pesticides or side effects. So I think it's good to separate yourself from the pack, but also it's just good for the country if like more people did that in any way, small or big, but just something that was, not like, ooh, I'm gonna, I gotta make 50 sales real quick of this thing that I hate that I know is bad for people. But it's like everyone's got to do their job. Some things are good, and I'm not trying to sit on like my high horse or anything, but that's my thought of like how things can help a little bit. Someone said just grow your own food. I mean, that's definitely a great idea. If you can do it, you have the resources or the property or the farming space, then absolutely. I think growing your own food is epic. Someone said all the trees and the wildlife are gone forever for some crappy homes. There's still a lot of wildlife out there, but the country is definitely being developed more and more. That's a thing. Someone said, I want to like Massey, especially for calling out foreign influence. Nonetheless, he displays the symptoms of a career politician and it's difficult to like. I mean, you don't have to like him. I think it's important to just understand what's going on. But whether you like him or not, I think he's one person. I think he did a lot. But even the way they beat him, like it was annoying, but it took them so much. And I think there's a lot of reasons they didn't like him, but as long as more people run that aren't controlled by lobbies and that becomes like a norm, then that's a political solution. If that doesn't happen, then I don't know. I think then people need to do like a cultural solution. Even with a lot, like let's just say like Trump is in office, right? And he's against the LGBT like stuff or whatever. I mean, he's not really, but you know what I'm saying. He's like, I'm going to stand up to trans sports. What is really like him passing an executive order only does so much. Like people trying to police the citizens, like there's certain things you can do, but also it's like it's a cultural thing. Like 70, 80 years ago, people never voted for people who did certain stuff because nobody wanted that. When everybody wants something, then you kind of get it. So I feel like, politics in one way, they do print money and pass laws. Like I'm a multifaceted person. I don't think it's complete. Like some people are like, there's no political solution. I don't know if I believe that, but at the same time, I don't think it's like a 100% political solution because I think consumer wise, like why has certain food, even though it's gotten worse, why has like if you go to certain stores, there's way better options than there were probably like 15 years ago. Why is that? Because of purchasing power, consumerism. People are like, oh, I want that healthier chip that is baked in avocado oil instead of like seed oils. Now that chip's available. You can find that in like mainstream stores. So it's like politics is a thing. If people are interested in it, it's interesting to talk about and try to fix. But I think there's ways to fix it elsewhere. Someone said the guy on State Nationals, Rock, mentioned you as an honest influencer. I'm not sure who that is, but I appreciate it. Tell him thank you, whoever that is. That's a nice compliment. Do I regret voting for Trump yet? No, because I voted in California, so I don't care. I don't know. It didn't do anything. I never thought it was going to do anything. So no, not really. Like I see two sides of it. On one side, the positives of Trump is he closed the border. He does a few good things, but he's pretty bad. With that being said, if Kamala won, the border's open. The war may or may not have started. Maybe Kamala's less sold out to the Israel lobby. Maybe she's exactly the same as Trump. We don't necessarily know what she would have done, but Biden was there when Israel started its stuff in Gaza, and he didn't do anything. So it's like that was all on Joe Biden. If Trump didn't win, then everybody would have thought everything's because of the Democrats. And then we would have been like, in 2028, we need to run Donald Trump again, or somebody like Donald Trump. So I don't regret it because one, in California, it literally meant absolutely nothing. Two, like if you ask me right now, like if you could change and put Kamala in, would you put Kamala in? I wouldn't. Like I know what we're getting with Trump. I knew that there's levels to how bad it could be, but I still would rather have him because I feel like people need to figure this stuff out. Like they need to figure out who Trump is. They need to figure out who he's working for. And if Kamala's in, the border's open. She probably brings in like 20 million more people. And then we are nowhere near anywhere closer. Like do you think everyone would have woke up to the fact that Trump was working for these people if he wasn't in office? I don't know. It's hard like I don't know what everyone thinks. Like, I could pretend like I do and do a poll or something, but I know what I think. I figured this stuff out in like 2019. Most Republicans didn't figure it out until like 2024. There's a lot of people who didn't want to see it in 2024 because they wanted to believe in Trump. And now they see it in 2026 because Trump showed who he is. Like, do you think Sean Strickland would be talking about the Israel lobby if Trump didn't win? Probably not, because then Kamala's in. And, like Trump is probably going to run on the premise in 2028 of like, oh, if I'm in, I'm going to stop the war. So there's like, if I heavily promoted him and said he was amazing, like I can't speak for other people, but I don't think Tucker ever called Trump out. I called him out 1,000 times in the last like 6 years. And I told people my vote is not an endorsement and I don't care if you don't vote. I don't think it matters that much. And I think Trump sold out, but I think he's slightly better. Something along those lines. Like Tucker, I don't think he played it that way. I think he always backed Trump a lot. I think he promised people more. So it's up to him if he feels inspired to like apologize or regret it. But I'll save my regrets for something that matters, not a vote in California. I don't think it really. I think I said what I meant and I said the truth, and I don't. I'd have to rewatch the video, but I highly doubt that I claimed that he would do anything. I said, here's what he might do, And to be honest, once again, it's not like a comparison. I guess it is a comparison, but it's not to criticize others. I know other people like for example, I'll just say it. I like Dave Smith. I think he's great. What did he say? I don't know. I'd have to go look, but like what did he like he thought Trump was going to end all the wars? Like he told people that they were going to end the wars or something. Like I saw a certain tweet along the lines. It's okay. Like he thought he was going to, now he doesn't. I like Dave Smith. It's not like I think he's bad for saying that. I don't care. But I think other people thought he was going to do way more. I didn't think he was going to do that. I hoped he did that, but I wasn't like, he's going to do this. Kamala's going to start the wars. I knew Trump was a sellout. So it's like, I hope he doesn't. He says, he says he wants to end the Ukraine war. Hopefully he will. And part of me thought, maybe he will, maybe he won't, because in his first term, the Ukraine war did not break out, and they used the Russia-Ukraine thing against Donald Trump in order to try to like push him into that war. So there was like some promise, like I understand why people thought he would. If you would have asked me in 2024, like what's the chances Trump ends the Ukraine war? I might have thought there was a bigger chance that he would than he wouldn't. It's hard to go back in time now, but it felt like a lot of signs were there that even though Trump was a sellout to the Israel lobby, that he wasn't like a complete sellout. However, he is a complete sellout, or at least like 99%. And whether people thought he would or wouldn't, I guess it doesn't really matter to me. If you thought he might do that and then he didn't, like, are we just going to like yell at people that thought more? Like, I thought more he was or wasn't. It's like, bro, if you're watching my video for the first time and you didn't realize any of this stuff until 2026, okay. Like it's a little late, but are we in the same place now? Are we going to be honest moving forward? Have we learned our lessons? Like, did you learn it at a different time than me? I'm sure someone figured out the Israel lobby in 1990 and hated me from 2016 to 2018 when I really didn't know much about it at all. I genuinely did not know or see it. However, if someone wants to hold that against me, that's on them, right? Everyone has their right to decipher things, but someone said, I remember you said you had very low expectations for Trump. Knowing me and knowing what I knew then, I can't imagine that I said anything besides that. Like, honestly, I'll have to watch the video sometimes, but I'm pretty sure I was like, I have extraordinarily low I think I told people the only thing I think he's going to do is close the border, but the RFK and the war stuff is like a dice roll. I was like, maybe he will, maybe he won't. I highly doubt I said more than that, but I don't know. Someone said, will you vote for him again? No, I am never going to vote for anybody paid by AIPAC or the Israel lobby, that's my line in the sand, my new line in the sand. Like, if Miriam Adelson's giving you money, if AIPAC's giving you money, if the Republican Jewish Coalition's giving you money, if Big Pharma's giving you money, I'm over it. Any of those lobbies, like, I don't, pesticide lobby, Big Pharma, any Israel lobby, I'm not voting for anybody like that. Not in a primary, not in a general. If someone local's running and I could find out that they're not working for the Israel lobby or Big Pharma or Big Pesticides, then I'll vote, probably, maybe. But if it's Rubio and Vance, I'm not voting. And this is like, I don't have, right now, this video doesn't have that many views. Like, who knows how many it'll get after. But, you know, I could do other posts that'll get millions of views. This one's not going to get millions of views. Just to let you guys know too, like, I am hoping to build up my YouTube again or more. But like, I have like 400,000 people on Instagram. I have 1.5 million on Facebook. I have a lot on Twitter. Like, I did a post yesterday that got 1 million views. So I'm not like running in circles to do everything all the time. I'm sorry. I wish I could, but like, there's ways that I can reach a lot of people in different ways. It might not be this video, but I do want to get my message out to as many people as I can to say this to Republicans. If you want my vote ever again, stop crying, stop hating, stop like, oh, you're a liberal. I'm not a liberal. I think I'm more right-wing than Trump and everybody in the Republican Party. Not everybody, but like, what does right-wing mean to you? Like, does it mean sucking off Donald Trump? Does it mean sucking off the Israel lobby? Like, that doesn't mean right-wing to me. But if that's right-wing, then yeah, I'm not that. But, you know, I believe in what you guys pretend to campaign on. So if you want my vote in 2028 or ever again, it's actually really simple. Do what you say you're going to campaign on. Don't take money from people that pay you to do things for foreign nations, and don't take money from pesticide companies or Bayer or freaking, you know, DuPont or like whatever. I don't like, find a different way to make money, you know, create create like a Patreon or a freaking GoFundMe or whatever, Give, Send, Go, and be like, okay, I'm not going to take money from any of these lobbies. Pay me if you don't want me to take money from them. Like, they'll figure out something. We have the internet, technology. People are winning elections without it. So yeah, no, I'm never voting ever again for anyone who's taking money from any lobby that I think is paying them to either poison our food supply or literally get us into a war against our interests, or sell out our military, or sell out our White House, or sell out our First Amendment. Like, I'm over that. And I think a lot of people are. I think a lot of people, Trump was the last dice roll for a lot of people. You know, a lot of people trusted him and they shouldn't have, but a lot of people, they rolled the dice with him. They were so tired of Biden, they rolled the dice. It's like a 7 if you're playing crap. So, you know, I think a lot of people have learned, and I hope that the GOP, they have 4 years or 2 years. Never mind. Jeez, I'm getting old. 2 years. You have 2 years to not run Rubio or Vance. Like, they're both no-goes to me. And Vance, you know, he's a little too sneaky. You know, I wouldn't even say I had high hopes. I never had hopes for JD Vance, but I liked him more 2 years ago. Not because I ever trusted him, but, you know, I thought maybe him and Charlie were going to like use their leverage and then move in the right direction, but Charlie got assassinated, and now JD Vance is like a huge piece of garbage. So it's like I don't like him at all or trust him. I'm not voting for him. I'm not voting for Rubio. I would vote for like Massey or Tucker Carlson. And once again, not because I completely trust them, but that would be interesting to me. If one of them ran, now I'm getting interested. If it's just Rubio versus Vance, I will do everything in my power to just put out honest content to let people know now is your time. Like, I'll leave on this note because I'm getting tired. When they're getting paid by so many people, our power is in our voice. It's in our vote. It's in our platforms. It's in our purchasing power. We have power. It's just not like direct as much as like Miriam Adelson. So we have to use that power. That's why I don't like these MAGA influencers who just suck off Trump. They're basically trying to suck the power out of our movement and make us into cheerleaders. Like, you know, JD Vance and Rubio, if they're the two options, they're going to sell out, and they're going to sell out more and more and more if they have no competition. So we need to provide competition, and we need to wake people up, because like, let's just say JD Vance wins. This is my opinion about JD Vance. I don't think he has some sort of like political ideology where he's like this horrible, evil guy who just wants to do whatever the deep state wants. I think he's just a sellout. He knows his role is to be whoever they want him to be. Didn't he change his name like 4 times? Is JD Vance even his real name? It's like he's doing this, he's doing that, he's doing this. He's JD Vance is whoever they need him to be. So it's like he has no problem being that guy. But if people wanted him to be a better person and we had as much power as the donors, maybe he'd be a better guy. It's not to be like trust him, but make him be that, and don't give him your support unless he's that. And if he doesn't do that, then just let him lose. You know what I'm saying? And let him become irrelevant. So I think that's like the solution. Like, I don't think JD Vance sits with the Rothschilds and it's like, how do I destroy America or something? And I'm not saying that they're necessarily doing that, but it's like, I don't think he's that important. I just think JD Vance is like the point guard for whatever the GOP wants to do, whatever the donors want to do. And maybe he'll stand up to a few donors and maybe he won't. I don't really know, but I don't trust him at all. And I think that everybody needs to let these people know that you know what they're doing. Like, even if you like JD Vance more than a Democrat or something, don't be a fan. Let him know, I know you're taking money from Palantir. I know you're taking money from this lobby, and I know you're going to do what they want. So here's what I want. Here's my lobby, a lobby of one, unfortunately, or millions of people. If you can get a bunch of people to agree with you, here's what we want. Look at the Constitution. It was created a long time ago. I want that to be more important than Israel. You see this country we're standing in? It's called the United States of America. I want you to prioritize us and not a foreign nation. I don't want you to pass speech laws for them. I don't think there should be anti-boycott laws for them. It's ridiculous. They don't have anti-boycott laws for us. What other country has laws that you have to worship another country and can't boycott them in order to get a government contract? We're a colony of that country. So if you want to be a puppet of those people, then go, like Trump said, go move to Israel and run in Israel if you're 99% popular. He's not, by the way, he's lying. But if you think you're 99% popular, then move there. There's a reason you're more popular in Israel than America. It's because that's who you work for. So, that's what our lobby is. It's our voice. It's our passion. It's our energy. And even if you like, for example, during the primary, people were driving me nuts because I was like, if you like DeSantis more than Trump, okay, I get it. If you like Trump more than DeSantis, I get it. But like, dude, everyone was bugging. Like, everyone's such NPCs. They're like, oh, DeSantis works for George Bush. Oh, yeah. And Trump is just totally an outsider. No, he's not. He works for the same people. Not George Bush specifically, but he hires Bush people. Like, Trump is no different than DeSantis. He's probably just worse. But in general, like, this idea that Trump is this outsider and DeSantis is sold out. Why was I the only one who said Trump is just as sold out to the Israel lobby as DeSantis? What are you guys talking about? Like, it's like people were taking crazy pills and they all said it in unison. So to me, the primary is the time to let these people know you need to please me now or you lose. But nobody said that. Everyone was like, Trump, Trump, Trump. Oh my gosh, you're going to beat up the deep state. I was like, no, he's not. What are you guys talking about? Like, so they feel no need to please us. And now that Trump's in, this is like 4 years of people just worshiping him. Like, he doesn't even have to pretend to like us anymore. But I bet if they get blown out in the midterms, like, maybe he won't, but the people that still want to run for office, they're going to change their tune really quickly. So, that's the only power that we have. And that's what I want in 2028. I'm not going to vote for any of these people, but I will use my platform, and everyone should, to call them out. Like, it's just what it is. Like, the guys paying them the most are going to get the most out of them. So if they're paying them, you have a right to speak about it and be like, so what are you going to do for me? To me, Trump has done like nothing for his supporters. The border closed. That's great. Smart. Thank you. Good job. What else has he done? I'm going to give you a check from a tariff. What is he talking? No, he's not. And the tariffs were already a tax on us. It raised all the prices. And they charged a bunch of American businesses. It made absolutely no sense. I try to buy for my products. I do buy for my products made in America, but I try to, in general, support America. Some products aren't made here. Like, they literally don't make them. And all those people got screwed. It's not like there's an American option for everything. For clothes there is, but for a lot of industries, like the materials they use simply aren't even here. So it's like everyone's paying more. And then who's making money? Like how is this like Trump's not even using it to like bring businesses back to America. He was like, "Oh, Ireland doesn't like Israel. Let's put a tariff on them. Oh, Canada recognized Palestine. Let's put a tariff on them. Oh, India wants to do business with Russia. Let's put a tariff on them." They were an extension to his foreign policy. And it was America last. I thought they were going to be America first. Not that I ever trusted him completely, but I was like, let me see what these tariffs are. They were America last tariffs. No one's getting a check from them. The deficit is rose. Doge, they don't even talk about Doge anymore. It was a complete failure. Elon got all pissed off, left the White House and said Trump was in the Epstein files, even though Elon is too. It's like, what has he even done besides the border? He's literally done nothing. And he doesn't even like, when he talks, it's not like he talks about like, oh, I'm doing so much for Americans. He literally goes on stage and he's like, I'm more popular in Israel. I think I'm going to move there and run for prime minister. I'm 99% popular. Well, yeah, you work for them. Of course you're popular there. If you worked for America, you'd be popular here like you were a year ago when you got elected. It's like, duh, you know? And then he's like, oh, my ballroom is so beautiful. Oh, wow, my reflection pool is so big. It's bigger than like the Empire State Building. It's like, dude, he's like an idiot. He's such an idiot. He doesn't even like talk about what he's doing for us because he's not doing anything for us. He's like an old child who's like, I like to build things, you know. He's like a interior designer. He's like, look at how beautiful everything is. There is no affordability issue. All my rich friends say they like my pool. It's like, cool pool, bro. You know, that's his whole shtick. It's so crazy. But yeah, appreciate you guys. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. If everything goes right, I should have a podcast coming up that's pretty exciting and pretty fun. I'm excited about it. But yeah, I will do what I can to do more videos. Like I said, I try to do everything with passion. So if I'm passionate about the short ones, I do them. I like live streams, but it's hard to do these all the time, especially when I'm running around a lot. So I'm definitely planning to do better on YouTube. But in the meantime, check out my Facebook, which is demonetized for 90 days. Such a bummer. Twitter, Instagram. You know, I'm doing something all week, all the time. It's just not always YouTube. So I'm going to lock in on YouTube later this year. Well, I'll just let you guys know too. When it comes to social media now, I'll give people like a free, just like a little bit of inspiration what's going on because it inspires me too. Social media, like you don't even need a lot of followers now. You just need to make good content and be consistent, and you can get a lot of views on Instagram. I have a buddy who just made an Instagram account for like the first time, and he was just doing TikTok, and he's already like got 6,000 followers. He's got like 20 million views or something, like it, because his content's good. But in general, they like you to just be consistent. So whatever you do on social media, you have to enjoy it, and you have to figure out a way to just keep doing it and like not fall flat. So for me, I do a lot of stuff. So I'm not doing YouTube all the time because it's like, it's not the main part of my business model or just model in general. So you don't see it as much. But if you follow me on Facebook, you probably see my posts all year. I'm trying to figure out a way to do everything at once, but I want to have fun with it and I want to be passionate. So I have an idea of how to do it and have a good time with it. But that's my like unsolicited advice to anybody who does like social media stuff. Find something you really like and find something that's like, it's not that it's not hard to do, but that you know that you won't stop while you're doing it. And for me, like I'm doing so many things at once. Like I made the choice to like, I don't want to just make 5 videos a day and post them on all things. I'm going to lean into certain things that I like more, and I'm going to fall back on certain things. But I do want to be able to do like 10 or 15 videos and shorts and stuff on YouTube a week. And I have an idea of how to do it. So I'm like waiting and I'm lining up everything. But I do have like a strategy where I can have fun, do what I like, do what I think is important. But at the same time, like crank it out quickly, because that's the name of the game on the internet now. It's like, yeah, there's certain people that do daily episodes and they kill it, and live streams. Like there's absolutely a lot of that, but consistency is the most important. Like if you can do 20 reels that are good and fun and funny or whatever a week, like you're going to start lapping the guy who's only doing 1 or 2 videos a week, unless they're like, Candace Owens level where they have a huge following, or Tucker Carlson. Like these are your top 1% of people where like no matter what they do, it's going to be huge. But at the same time, they're very consistent. Candace never stops. Tucker never stops. So, they have the consistency in their own way. But to anybody that's doing socials, and even me in general, I want to do more stuff, but it requires a team that I'm building, and it requires like planning of like how to do it properly. So I have an idea. I'll definitely do live streams in the meantime when I'm feeling good and stuff. But yeah, I do plan within the next couple months to hopefully have a nice steady workflow where I can do more content, but not have it be like annoying or like, oh, I got to do this. Cause traditionally it takes me like 6 hours to do like my old videos. And it's like, dude, a guy with a cell phone walking in a park is going to lap me, cause it's like, it takes me so long. And like, maybe I put 6 hours into a video and it's like, oh, it's not like everything's not a smash hit. But if you're constantly just banging out like short content that's like cool, it's I feel like that's like where we're at right now when it comes to like technology, the shorts, the reels, the YouTube shorts. Live streams are great. I'm never going to stop, but it's like in order to bolster your live streams, like ideally it's like I should probably have like 3 live streams a week, 10 clips from the live streams or 15 clips from the live streams, and like 15 shorts. It's a lot. It's bothering me even to think about doing that much work, but I have an idea of like how to pull it off flawlessly, so I'll work on that. Thanks for being here. Appreciate y'all. And yeah, if you guys do socials for any of your businesses or your personal stuff, just think about that. I do social media consulting. I don't really promote my link anymore. It's dreamrarebiz.com, biz. But yeah, I just enjoy it. I like the grind, and I like where things are at. In some ways it's weird, but I think it's a great time. Like if you're not crushing on social media, it's actually like a good time to hop in, because on Instagram and TikTok, you don't need a following. Like probably Facebook too. I'm not really sure. I don't pay attention as much to like, it's not that I don't pay attention to it. I just post on Facebook and I have success. So I don't like need to like back end it and look at what's going on. But yeah, it's a good time for that. So appreciate y'all. Have a good day. Someone said Sean Strickland's brain dead, and props to him for figuring out he got played. Be nice to Sean Strickland. No Sean Strickland hate here, but have a good day.